You know what? We should every time we start doing one of these chats, we should literally just have a chorus of angels going until it starts actually like streaming.
So.
But instead of something angelic, it's like completely discordant and like chaotic. That's what we should do. Just horrified screaming in the background.
You're like, hey, what's that sound? Oh, well, it's Fallout Day, so that's all the people dying outside.
Love it.
Hello, general audiences. We may or may not be live right now. How are all y'all doing?
I don't know, man. Hold on, let me pull up my YouTube.
We gave them 2
Where's
days,
my YouTube?
2 days notice, so hopefully people know. I think this is a good time because all of us West Coasters, Western New Worlders are waking up in the morning, and all the Old Worlders are all sitting down and having a little dinner. So I don't know. I feel like everyone should.
We have 3 people in the chat right now.
Except for maybe our Australian friends. Might be the witching hour, but I don't know how many Australian fans we actually have. A lot of our fans are like Soviet bloc because Fallout, so...
A lot of my friends are from Russia.
From Russia with love. So...
Well, we have 3 people in the chat, so that's exciting. We already have people posting.
Can you guys hear Needle all right? I haven't done a co-pathetic stream in a while, so I've got you maxed up, I think. So
should I just start screaming and hope somebody hears me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I don't know if somebody's got headphones on.
That's right. Yeah. So technically, it is the 5th year anniversary. This is our real victory lap kind of stream. We finished all the main FOE series that we intended to when we started out the channel.
Oh my gosh! Right?
I'm quiet.
I never thought that we'd be doing this long. I'm not quiet. Well, you are apparently.
Really? That actually.
That's what somebody is saying.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. That's what I don't quite understand. Testing.
Discordant screaming.
Let me check my settings. It should be picking up my microphone.
I don't know. See, this for 5 years and it's still a mess whenever we stream. It's great.
Every time. I guess it has been a while.
Well, it's been a while since you've had like somebody else. Usually you just do your banana cast.
I know. All by myself. Alright, I'm gonna listen and see what it sounds like on my phone.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast stream, guys. It's now just me. I don't know if anybody can still hear me.
I think it's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Hey, Vermont's here, finally. Took him long enough.
Does that mean all the important people are here? Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Other than... Hey, Vermont!
Okay,
What up, bitch?
We can kind of hear you, Vermont, but he can't hear us.
Oh my god, there we go. Huh.
You good, bud?
A million different things went wrong all at once, like realizing that I got the podcast time wrong by about 12 hours. I was making family dinner until about a few seconds ago, which I very quickly handed off to my brother, only to get here and realize the internet wasn't working.
Oh my gosh.
And then, of
You're
course, I
falling
had to try
apart.
and get my mic working afterwards.
So somebody's asking, is this an open lobby stream? It is not. Our podcasts are not open lobby, almost ever.
I'm assuming that is Beachglow asking.
Yes. Why did they ask before?
Yes. We're not doing an open lobby stream as we've said in the patron Discord chat. We're not doing open lobby streams at the moment. We've altered details in the Patreon tiers, which we spoke about in an announcement a few weeks ago. Also, because after about a year of not streaming, we need to get our sea legs back.
Yeah,
that too. And it just ends up being kind of a mess. Yeah. Because we have to try to figure out like who can come in, who can't. Because if we have too many people, it ends up just becoming like too many people talking at once.
Yeah. We have a certain audio chemistry that we fostered over the years.
Right. We've gotten used to each other.
Ew.
Hi everyone, I'm back.
Ew. It's Skybolt.
So this is a Dune stream now.
This is a what stream?
Dune.
Oh
Dune?
my god.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it. All I know is that it's got Jason Momoa in it, and that makes me happy.
Jason Mimosa.
Jason Mimosa.
He goes down every morning.
Bad Needle, how have you not seen Dune yet? It's so good. It's been out for a whole 24 hours.
I know.
Get fucked. I have a job, unfortunately, and I fucking hate it. I hate my job.
For the week.
My job sucks. I work for Domino's.
Hey Needle, do you and I know this is gonna be an old joke for you by now, but could you bring me a pizza, please? Not from Domino's though, from somewhere good?
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, you're absolutely right. Domino's sucks. But yeah, I got laid off from working with the government, and so now I'm working with Domino's again, and I hate it. It sucks. Government. The what?
The other government. It's like, it's a snow crash.
The other government?
Right?
Oh my god, right?
Oh god, so the actual heart attack I had when we were talking about this the other day in a meeting, and I looked through the channel's videos and realized that we hadn't done a Breakroom for the whole year, and it has been Skybolt with the banana casts proudly keeping the live stream flag flying.
So Chris says, Dominus Needle Pizza.
This is Neb. Neb is good.
Hi, Neb.
We have ceased calling my brother Ben, and we now exclusively call him Neb.
Hi, baby Ben!
He already left.
Is it because it's upside down?
Yeah, it's probably because upside down.
Yep, and we sometimes call him Bad Neb. Actually, we usually call him Bad Neb.
Bad Neb?
Yeah, because he's a bad Neb. He's not good. Have you heard about the awful things he's done? He is bad.
He's a child. Of course he's bad.
He is bad.
Children are terrible.
Haven't you seen Halloween movies?
Exactly.
Oh my god. So, Lucas's brother, right? You know, my other half. His brother actually just sold a script to Universal. I don't know what the script is about. But he just sold a full script to Universal. I'm guessing it's like a TV series or whatever. That's all I know about it, and I know that he sold it for $750,000, and that's about it.
What the fuck?
I don't know. So it's like, it's really cool. So Lucas is like, can we go back to California, please, so that I can potentially be in movies and stuff? And I'm like, oh my god, okay. So Skywall, we're going to be in your neck of the woods again.
All right.
Which means we need to get coffee or something before you become all rich and famous and, you know, forget all the little people.
Yeah, bye Vermont.
No, I'm still trapped here in South Africa.
Oh, no, it's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out passports or whatever.
We'll come and save you somehow.
I'm actually quite happy at the space where I am at the moment. Basically, I'm kind of I'm in a place where it's where I'm secure enough that I don't have to worry too much about work, which is very much a blessing. And and I've got the option to work like the next 5 months, almost full time on Sunset Charlie.
Great.
So that's getting a lot of really, really good treatment. I've been able to amp up a lot of production details without necessarily losing more or less our predicted deadline, which I'm not giving all of that out because I have a habit of missing deadlines, but it means that
it's a notorious habit.
It is a bit of a notorious habit, but what matters is the project at the end is going to be really, really great, and it's been coming out a lot funnier than my usual scripts. I think because I've nicked the Japanese method for writing animation, where instead of writing a script and then storyboarding, I'm doing them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Which creates a lot more visual cohesion, but it means that visual jokes and gags just pop up a lot more naturally than trying to write dialogue jokes.
Great.
That's awesome. Good job, Vermont. So speaking of your super secret hentai project, because that's what I've been calling it for the past couple of years, because at first I didn't even know what it was. So I was just like, yeah, Vermont's super secret hentai project, because I just assumed it was porn. I have started getting into the NSFW voice acting stuff, which is so much fun. Like, obviously, like, I listen to people like Miss Moonified, or like just people who do like porn regularly. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, Jesus, this is way more awkward than regular voice acting.
Well, yeah, you're making like sex noises.
Just add a microphone.
Sorry, Cruz, this conversation turned into NSFK.
Not safe for Chris.
I'll text you. I'll text you when it gets when it becomes safe for Cruz again.
Well, everyone knows that kind of acting is the most difficult when you're a method actor. So it's just you gotta have a big studio
it's
space.
so bad.
That's what
so
Lucas
bad.
is for.
No, it's not what Lucas is for.
Aww.
That's literally his entire
part of it. He doesn't like to be a part of it.
That's fine.
So I'm just like, alright, that's okay. You don't have to be a part of it. But I'll just sit here awkwardly, just trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Honestly,
the first one that I had doing.
Honestly, I completely get that, because for the record, writing that kind of stuff isn't necessarily the. It can also be kind of awkward too, because in order to tell a story about that kind of work and that kind of lifestyle, Sunset Charlie has to depict some of that. And
hell yeah.
Hell yeah, draw the weenies.
Without, actually being overtly pornographic, because I'm not going to get this channel taken down. I promise.
On Susan's good.
I'd have to fight you. I think Skybolt and I would both have to come and fight you, Vermont.
Yeah, no, I would be a massive asshole if I did that.
We gotta set up a Newgrounds account.
The EAST Corp OnlyFans.
Oh my god, yes! Let's do it, EAST Corp OnlyFans.
Oh my god.
Right? But that's made it like sitting down and like writing these lines of dialogue or these monologues, and it can be awkward to write, but then thematically the story's about why it shouldn't be awkward, and it leads into this very fun little circle. On the subject of things we've all been working on, though, we should probably bring up the fact that Skybolt released a fucking book.
Oh yay! Yeah.
Skybolt's been doing a good job of bringing that up himself.
I was too bashful to mention it myself.
Sure you were, Skybolt. Sure. You're proud. It's okay.
I'm very proud. Yeah, people could probably see from the last Banana Cast, which I fucked up the audio on, so I apologize to everyone after the fact. then I flew too close to the sun with this copyright-free background music, and I turned it up too loud. But hopefully,
God damn it, Icarus.
hopefully you can still understand most of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a fun little story. I am currently working on the audiobook too. It's just gonna be me, but I think it's gonna be fun for those who. For those who enjoyed the Confessions finale, and really Confessions in general, I really feel like, because it's sort of like an ensemble cast of couples, it's based around a homecoming dance, so it's like a bunch of couples fucking die, and then they have to figure out who killed them.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of
It's
cool
a
to,
whodunit.
Yes, and that's what I'm waiting for too, is for people to finally reach the end and see if I caught them off guard of who the killer is, because I caught my parents off guard, and they chew through thriller novels like this like every day, like you know, just stacks of old paperbacks from these bookstores my mom goes through.
Not pushing for a date, because obviously, you know, we all keep our windows close to our chest. Do you have any idea when your audiobook's going to drop?
I am working toward February. That's the target. No promises. It's a long book. So it's 200,000 words, which is in Confessions terms, that's about 2/3 of the way through Red Reaper and everything before that.
Yeah, because that should be, what, 20 hours, more or less?
Yeah, 21 is what I'm estimating, because I've streamed. The good thing is it's been a trial by fire trial by fire. Streamlined my recording process, and so I'm getting the turnaround pretty quick, like, in terms of, like, and production hours to finished hours, but it's still a long time to record.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's definitely quite a process.
However, for people who want to hear the audiobook theme now, it is already released on the Frank Winter Bandcamp page, and there's a YouTube channel. Go subscribe and go check that out. As he did a great job with the theme song.
Which is, it's pretty cool that you got L Train to jump in and do the theme song for it. I mean, it's appropriate for something as momentous as this. You know, speaking from having spent the last, having spent the last 2 or so years only writing 140,000 words of a book, finishing a book, especially at 200,000 words, is like an absolute fucking badass move. It's such an achievement.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before, like, on the stream or whatever, where it literally, like, I woke up Christmas morning last year of 2020, and, like, I dreamed the entirety of what became Chapter 1 in, like sequence. It was the most bizarre thing, like, you know, I mentioned in the afterword at the end of this book, I'm like, it almost felt like divine inspiration, and then I wrote that down, and then I just didn't stop until I had the last 30 chapters done, so... That was fun. It was a nice little, like, you know, meant to be kind of moment.
Exactly. I mean, that's how Twilight and Harry Potter were written, so...
And if I could get some of that Twilight money, oof.
I mean, you want to get some of that Harry Potter money, that has its own theme park.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear that second part.
Oh,
yes,
God.
Actually, Harry Potter's a good comparison, because it's the same length as Deathly Hallows and Goblet of Fire, which are both about 190k.
Okay. And, of course... I want to see what a Skybolt theme park would be like. Oh my god!
Hell yeah, man!
It would be
what, Vermont. You, me, and Kelly would be in it because we've been a part of Skybolt's life for the past few years.
Yep. I'm picturing Skybolt Land doesn't have a hall of mirrors. It has a hall of accents.
It's like Epcot.
Just like Epcot. And then I totally, like, I don't want face characters like in Disney. Like, I want full-on costume characters. Somebody make a chibi costume of me with, like, a big-ass head, tiny arms. Do it.
Oh my gosh.
Or it'll just be somebody walking around dressed as, fucking Mars or something like that, just as, like, a god of war. Just, but purple.
At this point, Skybolt Land would be like fucking Duff Gardens, except with Perrier mineral water.
Oh my god, yes.
So that's been my. I think I mentioned on one of the blogs or whatever, where as part of my "don't get too fat during quarantine" things, I swapped out sodas in my life for the Perrier French mineral waters, which I really love now. But it's been like it's like swapping cigarettes for chewing on nicotine gum. So.
Also, I cannot believe that I completely missed the potential joke here. It wouldn't be called Skybolt Land. It would be called the Winter Wonderland.
See, that's the great thing too about the pen name. Yeah, because it is a pen name. Obviously, my real name is too hard for anyone to spell. I promise you that.
I mean, that was why I went. That was why I went with James Vermont, because both parts of my real first name are not spelled in a traditional way.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
No,
I know they're both in the sci-fi series, which is what caught me off guard. I'm like, this is it's almost the reverse of easy marketing because no one could ever find you. They'd find the other two major sci-fi properties.
Yeah, they would.
You guys are like.
The one is spelled like the Game of Thrones character, the first part of it, but like the second name is spelled different. And it's hard to go into without actually giving my actual name.
You guys are like, oh my god, my name is so difficult. It's like so long, and I'm like, I'm Kim.
That's an easy.
Your name is an after-school special though, which is fantastic.
Right.
My name sounds like a war criminal. Anyway, the shorthand is.
It does though.
The shorthand is that. So Frank Winter is actually a family name where my grandmother's side of the family, that's the maiden name is just Winter, which is fucking hilarious considering my 12 consonant last name. So I'm like, oh, that's easy. And then instead of Frank, it was Franz, was my great uncle. So, and he was also an engineer. So there you go. That's fun. So I'm like, hey, Frank Winter, that's, it's easy. Like, I started Googling first. I'm like, okay, what's the search engine, like, optimization possibilities? And there were only two Frank Winters. There's Frank H. Winter, which is a nonfiction military author. And then there's the character Frank Winter from the Manhattan Show that almost no one remembers unless you actually like the Manhattan Show. So, anyway, easy name. I thought I could then take over the Googs. The search terms.
See, if you look up my OC's name, if you put in Needle Stitch Pony, you get me and some 40-year-old or 50-year-old woman.
Hell yeah.
But see, that's that's the sign of a good pen name. Like, Sky's also been saying it for years, that, like, when you're coming up with a pen name or an OC name or something, that kind of name, make it something that when you Google it, it will almost always only be you.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you just type in Needle Stitch, you're going to get a whole lot of other stuff that is not me.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, like, it's going to be hard to find you, because you are actually going to find,
sewing. A lot of sewing stuff.
if you could filter it by the names of people, you would be the first one to pop up. If you
just put a Needle Stitch Pony, that pops up too.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I do luckily own Skybolt Pony, which is great. Which is actually one distinction that I made for my website was I called it Frank Winter Fiction, just because the other author is a non-fiction author. And there's that nice, like, I can make a nice symmetrical, like, logo for it down the road, FWF and stuff. So that's all.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say Frank Winter Pony, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
No, that's the point. This is a separate branding. This is like Miramax, but for Disney.
You need to convince people to start calling you Mr. Winter, because that's just...
Isn't that awesome? Yes. So...
You gotta get a sexy secretary now and be like, Mr. Winter, you missed a call while you were out.
Ooh, and she could earn a promotion the traditional way. And then we could get married and it will turn out okay.
She She done a promotion the traditional way, hard work and getting on her knees on occasion.
Putting in some elbow grease, another grease.
From all okay. What the hell kind of promotions do you guys have in America?
I'm just gonna hop on Twitter real quick and me too when Skybolt and Needle Stitch.
Oh no. So anyway, yeah. I appreciate
I'm gonna do it with the porn account too. I'm gonna do it with the account.
Oh do it! Gosh. Vermont, you know my porn account. Tag me in that one.
Oh fuck, that's right, you do have a porn account. Oh, I just remembered
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I make good money. At least not enough to live off just quite yet, but enough to at least set aside for a savings. Because I currently get paid less than minimum wage, and oh my god, it's so great.
How come they don't have a site called Only Furs yet? I feel like the furries would have done that immediately when that happened.
I'm sure they do. We just haven't found it yet.
I guess so. That seems
actually, you know what?
If they haven't. I
am a guy that owes me a favor. I'm totally gonna make me an Only Furs account.
Only Furs.
Thanks for the idea, Sky. I'll give you 5%.
All right.
Passive income.
I'll be like the guy at Apple who does the actual industrial design for the products. That one guy.
You're right. Guy. It's suddenly become not safe for Chris again.
Sorry, Cruz.
So I guess we should also talk about like what today is. It's Saturday.
It's the 23rd, guys. Happy 23rd of October.
Which commemorates nothing in particular.
Yeah. Happy Fallout Day, everyone.
What the fuck is a Fallout Day?
And we should probably bring up the unusual thing about this Fallout Day.
I actually don't know what's so unusual about this Fallout Day. What's so unusual?
In our time, now that we have said and started saying goodbye to a lot of our pony content and to especially Fallout Equestria content, this is our first Fallout Day without a song.
I know.
Why are you gonna make me sad like that, Vermont? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Because that's my job. That's literally the thing that I hypothetically would get paid to do if I got paid to do this.
Vermont. God, you're so depressing.
To be fair, though, I think I do think that Kelly and Sky ended off with a really good one.
Oh yeah, no, how Kelly handled the last song, oh my gosh, it turned out so great.
Oh man. I mean, since it had come out, Gilded Age had easily been my favorite, but I Love You is just, god damn. It is a really good song. Knocked it out of the park, really did.
Yeah, Kelly's been getting so much better with like the brass and stuff, like, because I know that's tricky. Like brass DAWs, oof, it's hard to get right, and he pulled it out of the all stops, especially with that whole intro.
Yeah, I think that honestly, like, Kelly's improvements over the last year, like, he's made some stuff for me, for some secret projects that I had to go on hiatus briefly. And he'd send them to me. He'd be like, "I'm just experimenting with this vibe," and I'd take them to my friends and I'd play them, saying, "Look what Kelly made," and they'd be like, "No, dude, this is this is something I would jam to in the club. Like, this is just, you could ship this tomorrow."
It's really great. And I have also been paying Kelly to make me music for a secret thing that I can't reveal until next year. But that I'm already...
Now I feel left out. I feel like I need to go pay Kelly for some music now.
I know. It turned out so well. I hate that I have to sit on it for so long, but he turned it around so quickly. Like, I came to him with the idea. I'm like, hey, so for next year I'm doing this thing, and I was wondering if you could help. And then like 2 weeks later he sends it to me. I'm like, oh fuck. So yeah, great job, Kelly.
I'm the only one not paying Kelly for art. Do I need to go pay Kelly for music now? Because like, I'm the only one not doing it?
The artist never
But
stopped
maybe-
starving. They just also got COVID.
Who the fuck is Susan? Like, are we not going to
As
talk
in-
about Vermont just screamed out Susan? Who the
Susan
fuck is Susan?
Wojcik.
Because the stream died.
Oh!
And when the
okay.
stream dies, it's because Susan looked at us.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't paying attention.
She's like Sauron. When she turns your gaze on your video, your channel dies.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like I feel like we should update our merch store with some Susan related stuff because we have been
probably
making this joke for like a
I just
solid
want a
2
shirt
years.
that says "God damn it, Susan."
But Susan
Like,
is
plain
on
that-
here.
Plain black with white writing. God, Susan, damn it, or Susan, damn it, whatever. Instead of God damn it, Susan, damn it.
Yeah, so that's what we've had to suffer.
We've
Feel
been
bad.
fighting that
After
for
this
several years. Oh, Beach Glow would like to know what we all thought of Squid Game.
Oh yeah.
It's Korean Hunger Games. Like, that's all it is. Just Korean Hunger Games.
And the thing they're hungry for is squid, which is pretty good.
See, I don't know if it's because like I have a higher level of observation than most other people.
Ooh, big brain time.
Big brain type, but I knew it was gonna be the old man. Like I had this feeling. I was like, it's gonna be the old man. Like the old man's behind it, and my boyfriend's like, nah, it's not the old man. I was like, no, the old man's behind it. What?
Okay, so
And then, like-
alert,
Oh yeah, I probably should have said that. Spoiler alert. My bad. But like, you know the scene where they do tug of war, right?
yeah.
As it's scrolling down, you see them all laying down, and you see their wrists locked up. Everybody but the old man's wrist is locked up.
I actually didn't
Oh,
notice
really?
that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I noticed that.
There are a couple of other details in there that I definitely noticed that kind of added to it. Like, you know, he got the triangle in Honeycomb. They very clearly do not show you him getting shot in marbles. I think the most clear one is during the nighttime attack scene. The way the shots are edited, you see the front man looking at the camera feeds, and he's looking at the heat signatures, and you see Il-nam standing on top of one of the beds on a really high point, yelling about how scared he is, and then the front man's immediately like, "All right, cool, stop the game," and they stop. So it is very clear that like he was responding.
The old man is pulling the strings or something.
I'm just glad you can remember the names. I don't know why. Like, I'm usually pretty good at remembering Japanese names, but the Korean ones have been throwing me for a loop lately. Like,
Just like the old man.
like I know Wang, which is the YouTube guy, and I know Chung, which is an old friend of mine, and that's it. Like, and Kim, the other Kim.
I think
the other Kims.
I think it's because so many of them are hyphenated.
Yeah, so I apologize to our Korean audience. It's hard.
I think
for some reason.
I think it's more it just that like because that's not how you're used to remembering a name working.
Yeah.
That it just takes a little bit of like extra. It takes a little bit of extra oomph to recall. But I'd like. To be fair, in an ensemble story that isn't like made out of superheroes, I'm gonna sound like an absolute fucking loser here. But in an ensemble story that isn't made out of superheroes, I more or less just like memorize the main or most interesting characters' names, and then everyone else gets attributed with those, with like their physical attributes. I love Empire Records, one of my favorite films of all time. Could not tell you the name of anyone in that film other than Rex Manning. And that's only because, you know, it's Rex Manning Day.
You're so dumb.
Your face is
I
dumb.
love you so much, but fuck you, man.
I would
Fucking
also
come over here and fight me.
I would pay for my plane ticket.
Nah, man, you want to fight? You gotta pay for your own damn ticket.
Money?
Just because
What'd
it's my
you say?
thing, I should also point out that the music is really good in Squid Game.
The music is really good. The music's really good. I like the way that they did everything, because, like, obviously somebody, like my big wrinkle brain, somebody else, like, they would have been surprised. Like, Lucas was still surprised, even though I was like, the old man, it's the old man. Excuse me. But anybody else, like, I know that a lot of my coworkers were like, oh, so crazy. And I was like, alright, so it's just because I'm hyper observant that I noticed it was the old man.
I'm curious to know, I'm assuming you both watched the subbed version, yeah?
Yes.
No.
Oh, did you watch the dub, Needle?
Oh, yeah, I watched the sub, sorry.
The dub was uniquely terrible, and I say that as one of the biggest dub enthusiasts out there. The dub is terrible. Oof.
So I accidentally watched both at the same time.
Yes, that's how I found out it was terrible.
Yeah, and, like, Lucas and I were watching it. It was like, alright, we gotta pick one or the other, because, like, the subs are way different than the dub. So he's like, we have to pick one or the other.
Because the thing that I noticed, and I think that there's something that the show does that I think is incredibly clever that would not work if you're watching the dubbed version, which is when you get to the VIPs episode and they're all speaking English because all of them but one are white Americans.
Right.
And the one is a Japanese man, which makes sense
the one is
in
a Japanese
show.
So it comes in through, like, the metatextual narrative there regarding the fact that not only are the poor and the working class playing the game of the rich, but it's very specifically the game of white American rich people. That reveal would not hit as hard if you're watching the dub where everyone is speaking English.
Yeah.
Sure, when the guy
doesn't. Oh, sorry.
When the guy takes his mask off, I get that the reveal can still work there, but I think the way that it uses the language in those sequences is just so clever that I would honestly recommend people watch. I try to recommend people watch the sub if they have without trying to spoil it for them.
Yeah. Also, because I've made it an ongoing debate in my streams of the dub versus sub. A similar problem with, it seems like Netflix specifically, I don't know who they're paying for any of their subs, but they are uniquely terrible. Like, so a new anime out called Komi-san, we've talked about that before. It's a nice lady who can't communicate with anyone except Tadano.
Right.
Also, Netflix has uniquely terrible subs, whereas, like, I'm watching them as soon as they drop in Japan, and fan subs are rolling them out, and I'm like, well, first of all, the fan sub says what all the signs say. Like, they put a little overlay of the English of whatever each sign says. And secondly, like, it's more descriptive. It seems like something that's actually being written rather than, Netflix is like, oh, this is the gist. This is basically what they're saying, I guess.
Like, Netflix, it also doesn't help that most Netflix subtitles are almost completely illegible from a text perspective.
Yeah, not good fonts.
Like, they don't use good
fonts.
I mean,
you can always change the fonts. You can always pick a different font.
I know, but ideally you should have your most legible and largest fonts ready firsthand. Like, this is speaking from an accessibility standpoint. You want to try and have your large, clear, easy to read fonts as your standard, even if they're not too pretty, and then require people to change them later. Like, studies and statistics have started to show that in video games, for example, in Dividja, games that start that start automatically with subtitles on, the massive majority of players won't actually bother to turn them off.
Yes, and the other thing too is scaling. You want the subtitles to fit comfortably on screen. One of the big problems I remember, at least from the old days, was Mass Effect. Very first Mass Effect, when it was a Xbox exclusive, the subtitles were about the size of, like, ants crawling across your TV screen. I don't know why they did that, but I'm like, well, I can't. I could turn them off initially for whatever reason, and then also it was like, come on, guys, like I can't read this, and I'm sitting up next to the TV. This is a mid high school Skyvolt, and I'm like, come on.
Like my
I've never played Mass Effect.
My job in 2019, one of my I was working on a talk show, and one of the jobs that I had was implementing the subtitles, and the amount of I think we spent a solid month or two making a ton of different variations on how we would do the subtitles and how we would and arguing how we would present them, because they're such a pain in the ass to get right, but you do have to get them right.
Yeah. Well, and it's part of the art in and of itself. One reference I'll make, just because they did it really artistically, are the John Wick movies. Whenever they have some scene of one of the Russian mafia guys or the Arabic guy speaking, they'll have the text float in, and it looks like a movie trailer almost. It's like this really epic font.
Awesome. The way they do it with the sign language in the second movie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
When he's done fighting Ruby Rose's character, is so fucking good. The subtitles, they do it really well.
Yeah, so it's and of course for those, there are limited amounts of subtitles, but still, when it's a multi-million-dollar movie, you can't pay one person to just, spend a week, get this looking pretty.
Right?
We could do that. Both Vermont and I could easily do that.
Easily. Also, so Scrollkeeper was asking about the Dune movie. We can't talk about it yet because Needle hasn't seen it, but we can talk about one thing that isn't spoiler related, which is that, my God, the soundtrack.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hans Zimmer's soundtrack, it's one of his best and most unique to date.
Yeah, people are saying this will probably get the Grammy this year.
I honestly... The thing that I have found is that since The Dark Knight, people have... No, not Dark Knight, Inception. Since Inception, I feel like a lot of directors have just misused his talents. And it feels nice to see Hans Zimmer utilized creatively.
Yeah, it's not just blah. There are some good blahs, don't get me wrong, but he's more than the blah man.
I was watching Denis Villeneuve break down the gum job scene with the paint box, and again, try not to get into specifics because Needle, but one of the in the song that plays, one of the instruments that is being used there is a sample of people screaming.
Yay.
Which I think is so cool, because it's not done in a disconcerting way-ish. But it's just... apparently, he drove his team fucking crazy with this, the music and sound department, kind of crazy with what he went for on this film. It sounds like he had a lot of freedom to just score it however he wanted.
And what's cool is it has those sort of, Arabic influences, same as the original story. So you have a little bit of a Middle Eastern vibe to the music, but then it also sounds very unique and alien and its own thing. It's not just copy pasting, something from the region.
Exactly. I think it's a very, very solid soundtrack. So good job, Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also love the ship design. The whole basis of technology in the Dune universe is really unique because it's like a post-Terminator apocalypse kind of civilization where everything's very quashed down because they don't want the AI machines to almost kill humanity again. So all the technology has a very cool, almost Star Wars-y feel where they don't have screens. If they want to look at something, they have little projectors. And everything is very touch-based and feeling-based.
It's a really cool aesthetic. The another thing about the aesthetic that I think works really well is that because the original novel predates most modern sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like 65.
All
I
modern
want to say.
sci-fi. It means that like when you read the description, when you're pulling from the descriptions of the book, you're pulling descriptions of technology that hasn't been inspired by decades of Star Wars and Star Trek and Stargate.
Yeah.
You are pulling from the thing that inspired them in the first place, which means you've got this look that just doesn't match anything else you've seen since then. And what's been really cool is looking at stuff in that, looking at like, because I haven't actually read, I haven't read Dune, which you may have to hang me at the for that, but the watching it's been really watching the film was really cool to see like, oh hey, that's where Star Wars got that idea, or hey, that's where Stargate got that idea. Also, incidentally, in case anyone in this listening to this podcast hasn't seen Stargate yet, because it's an old sci-fi show from the 90s, please watch Stargate.
The original Stargate is so good.
Like, the movie is solid, but the show that follows afterwards is so good. I'm genuinely blown away by how strong the writing is. Which is good because sci-fi TV is usually quite bad.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I love Velocipaster.
You love what?
Velocipaster. You haven't seen Velocipaster?
Amazingly, I haven't.
Oh my god, it's about a pastor, a Catholic pastor, who turns into a velociraptor. Why have you not seen it?
I don't know. Have you seen Christ for Arms?
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
Go into the meme chat in the Discord, and you will see Christ for Arms.
And you also haven't seen the sci-fi classic hit blockbuster film Sharknado?
Oh,
yeah, obviously I've seen that. Speaking of weird Christian stuff, and okay, I am going to say something that may make a couple of people uncomfortable. It will not be safe for work. So, Cruz, please put your fingers in your ears for the next 20 seconds. So, in South Africa, we have a franchise of Christian book sellers.
Love that.
They're in a lot of malls. Would you like to know what the company is called?
What?
Books.
What?
You heard me.
No, I didn't. What was it?
Oh, did you? Okay. Chris, put your fingers in your ears for another 15 seconds. I'm very sorry. It is called Books.
Wait, what?
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Is it C-U-M? Please tell me it's C-U-M.
Yes, it is spelled
Oh my god, yes.
Let me see if I can find their website real quick. It gets a lot. It has this bookstore has been in the mall near my various houses, like across my life, because it lived in one area for the last 26 years. But this bookshop has been there for about 20 of them, and I go to this mall maybe once a week, and it gets a giggle out of me every time because I'm a child.
I mean, it almost sounds like a very advanced level shitpost. Like, you go into the bookstore and you're thinking you know what's going to be inside, and then literally the opposite is inside. That almost sounds like very, very clever reverse marketing.
When you go to the website, the very first thing that pops up is find the right Bible for you. But I've posted the website for proof of this. For proof of this, I've posted the website in the memes chat. Yeah, it's safe now, Cruz-ish. It's safe-ish.
Now, please, is this an acronym? Like, does the cum stand for something or not?
It doesn't.
What?
What? Is it short for something? Like communal or something?
I don't know.
This must be
Oh my God.
It's got to be a Dutch thing then, right? Like it's some kind of Dutch Latin derivative thing, and they thought it'd be neat or whatever.
Scroll, you're a fellow South African. Can you please tell me if you know if this is an acronym for something? Because this is just straight up like this has been a thing that has confused us for many years.
I'm Googling it.
Oh, there we go. It actually it is an acronym. Okay, I'm gonna have to
Like the worst acronym.
I'm going to have to break out my my Afrikaans here. Okay.
Please do.
Okay. Christelijk uitgeversmaatskappy. Christelijk uitgeversmaatskappy. That is wow. Okay. Again, any Afrikaners in the chat are more than welcome to be mean to my. Yeah, that's
Christian Publishing Company. It means Christian Publishing Company.
You know, like this is one of those things you give the English. Like when the English take over.
I feel like they should have been CPC.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that so funny enough that that screenshot you've got up there on screen is not just that is actually the one at my local mall.
Oh, is it really? I literally just googled it.
That is the Cresta branch. Oh my god.
I love that. I love that so much.
I can't believe I've never brought that one up. It's so funny.
This is funny. I'm like almost beyond laughter now. I'm like, how does this happen? Literally, someone must have said at some point, like, hey, maybe this isn't good branding.
Right?
Just maybe.
So I think it's a language thing because like I've noticed my buddy who speaks French, whenever I make like a French-English pun, he doesn't get it because French is his first language.
Yeah.
So like for example, quatre and cinq, that's 5 and 6, right? So I say, sometimes I don't remember 5 and 6, but then I just remember the cat sank. And then he'll sit there for a second. He'll be like, the what? It's like, the cat sank. And he's like, oh, cat sank. Okay, I get you. Like, it'll take him a second. So I don't think in their head, like, it translated to English, like, hey, this might be a naughty word. It's just, oh, hey, this makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like puns and idioms, and stuff like that don't translate over language barriers very often.
Well, and that's why my first impression was that this is a Latin thing because you think of like cum laude, like in honor societies and stuff.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, is that what they're going for? Some kind of like Constantine, Roman Christianity kind of thing? No, it's just the cum store.
It's Christian Publishing Company. That's what those Afrikaans words mean.
And you know what? Like stylize or reverse the letters. UCM something anything. Like as soon as the internet was invented, they should have been like, uh-oh, wait a second.
Also, Scrollkeeper says that my Afrikaans needs work, which is accurate. So yeah, ek praat Afrikaans soos 'n dwaas.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. That was one accent from the start. I'm like, no.
I just know it's a mix of like Dutch and then the native African like language.
One of the only things I can say two things in Afrikaans. One is no, I speak Afrikaans like a fool. And the other one is the best Afrikaans phrase of all time, which is yes, mal in jou kop, which means you are crazy in your head.
Oh, nice.
So I got a fun little language story for you guys.
Yeah.
So there's this girl at work, right? She likes to lie about everything, and it's fabulous because I call her out all the time. So for example, one of her lies was she used to play soccer. All right, that makes sense. She used to run 20 miles in high heels up a hill every day. So that's an example of one of her lies. And she tells people this all the time. So she's like, yeah, I'm fluent in Japanese. Like, I could go to Japan and live there if I want. I don't know a whole lot of Japanese, but I know enough to call somebody out for it. So, like, I went to her and I started talking to her in Japanese, trying to get her to start a conversation, right? And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Japanese? And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. And I was like, I'm speaking Japanese. And she's like, oh, well, maybe I just don't understand that dialect. And then, what? I was like, all right. It's so funny. Like, I love calling her out. Because she's such a bitch.
And also, I might be wrong, but I don't think Japanese is like Hindi or whatever, where there's like thousands of dialects. I'm pretty sure it's like mostly one, and then some regional, like, accents or whatever.
That's basically how it is. Like, it's not like a Chinese where, like, you go to a different city and it's suddenly a different language.
Yeah.
There's, like, different accents and slightly different idioms, but for the most part, it's the same thing.
Yeah, because it's been a bottled, like, super isolated society almost since, like, the founding. So everyone's already, like, completely mixed up.
Yep. she just gets me every time whenever she lies, because I'm like, yeah, let's call you out on it. Let's see how much you actually know. But it's funny because now her mom works with us. Like, she just got her mom to start working with us, right? So, I don't like this girl. I think she's a huge bitch. I don't want to talk to her. Like, sometimes I just want to smack the face right off her face, right? So her mom came up to me and was like, oh, what do you think of my daughter? Like, tell me more about yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, your daughter was telling me that she used to do soccer and that she used to run 20 miles up a hill in high heels. Like, yeah, so I think it's like, I'm pretty impressed. Like, she must be very fit. And her mom's like, what? She never played soccer. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm just misremembering. But yeah, so she also told me that she spoke Japanese. So, like, I tried to talk to her in Japanese. My daughter doesn't know any Japanese. Oh. Well, okay, well, maybe I'm misremembering again. And then, like, I would bring up every single one of her lies, and I would just tell her mom all of her lies, just, like, casual conversation. And she's like, you must be talking about somebody completely different, not my daughter. And I was like, no, I'm talking about your daughter. Your daughter told me these things.
I mean, that's like a weird pathological thing. That literally sounds like some kind of, like, condition.
Oh, yeah, I think she's got something going on. Because, like, she even told me that she, like, is autistic and schizophrenic.
Oh. Okay.
I took offense to that because I took offense to that. Right?
That's a fun
So I took offense to that. Because I'm autistic, so I took offense to that. And my manager, her mother was severely schizophrenic, so her childhood was not the best. Right? So I like started asking her questions. I was like, oh, okay, so you're autistic, like, when were you diagnosed? And she's like, oh, well, I was never diagnosed, but, like, this one time I was pacing around my room and flapping my hands, and my mom said that I was autistic, so
oh my God.
I'm autistic. And I'm like, no, you need to go to a doctor and get that diagnosed. And she's like, no, I know what I am. And I'm like, I know that you're crazy, but you're not autistic. And then my manager would go to her and be like, hey, so when did you get diagnosed with schizophrenia? Like, are you taking medication? Like, the normal questions. Because if she genuinely has schizophrenia, it can be really dangerous while she's driving, right? And she's like, oh, well, I was never formally diagnosed. Like, I just did this and this one time. So my doctor said I may be schizophrenic, but I needed to see a real therapist about it, but I never did. And we're just like, so you are neither schizophrenic or autistic. Like, right now you're just incredibly offensive.
I'm just imagining someone saying, hey, you may have a thing, but you should go see a specialist to see about that thing, and you being like, nah, I think I just have the thing.
Yeah, that's basically what she did. It's so bad.
I'm the specialist now.
She's like, and then she tries to say that she's a pharmacist, right? She's 3 years younger than me, okay? So I'm 26, she's 23. And she's like, yeah, I'm a licensed therapist, so I'm practically a doctor. So if you have any questions, just ask me. And I'm like, those are completely two different medical fields. Like, no, you're not.
Because of all the ponies.
Right?
How
Yeah,
would YouTube be if it randomly boosted like small streams like this? That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be
Because then we'd have
fantastic.
way more subscribers.
Like, just have, like, one channel on the homepage that's, like, you know, discover someone new, and it just boosts people under, like, 10,000 subs or whatever, and just whatever they're streaming or whatnot.
That'd be cool.
Honestly, like, it should also be on... I'd love to see more large YouTube channels doing this. So one of my favorite YouTube channels is this dude called Austin McConnell. Does some really, really great stuff, but so he has 1.36 million subscribers, and for the last three years, once every like 6 months, he goes on Twitter and onto his community channel and basically like, all right, cool, send me every channel that you have or you're a part of that you like that has under 1,000 subscribers. I will go through them all and I'll make a video recommending my 5 favorites.
Oh, nice.
And so twice a year, and 5 channels with under 1,000 subscribers that he thinks are cool. And they always get like they always then get a ton of views. Like their subs will go from under 1,000 to like 20,000. Like they'll go into the tens of thousands.
That's really cool.
And it's so yeah, YouTube could do more, but like it would also be cool. Obviously, I get it would be hard. It would be really fucking hard to take a couple of to basically take like 2 weeks out of your schedule to go through all of the channels that you're being sent. But it would be worth it, I think, for the greater YouTube community for larger channels to do that.
Oh, I agree. That would be like, well, most of these larger channels have a team anyway, so like they could easily pay one of their, you know, crew members to do that for a week. But in terms of YouTube, I was literally talking about like an algorithmic thing where it's like the smaller your channel is, the more likely it is to be fed into the randomizer button. You know, that'd be just kind of like, it'd be chaotic. It'd be very like, you know, pro user, which is something they haven't done in fucking years now. And it'd just be fun. Like, you know, randomly like, okay, we're going to go through random shit YouTube channels tonight.
I think like the chaotic part of it would be so great. Like that's so much a part of what of like what the energy of like old YouTube platforms used to be like. That it would be this chaotic nightmare fest.
Yeah.
But occasionally you find gold. And straight up, I would love to like if they had a tab. It wouldn't even have to be on the main page. It could literally be a side tab where they've got Home, Explore, Subscriptions, Originals, and YouTube Music.
Yeah,
so if they just add
that's fine.
Like, you could like add it there, but because some people would use that, I would use that. I'd probably
would
go there
totally use that.
Once
a week. I'd click it just to see what random shit is floated up to the surface.
Honestly,
well, YouTube or not YouTube.
That's something that TikTok has done really well. Is how consistently and regularly the weirdest fucking shit just pops up on the feed.
I've been getting a lot of hardcore Christian shit, and like, hardcore, like, hey, if you don't do this, you're gonna go to hell recently, and I'm like, I'm already going to hell.
Now you know what to do, Neil. Get on TikTok. Get on TikTok. Make a video back at them recommending a bookstore where they can get their books.
Oh my gosh.
Come!
Yeah.
Go to come! But Netflix actually has this thing that's pretty cool. And forgive me, my voice might get a little bit weird because I'm about to step out of my house because I'm starting to head to work. Netflix has this really cool thing where there's actually a little widget where you can click and it'll say, recommend something to me, and you just click it, and all of a sudden it just takes you to a random video. So, like, that could be something similar to what YouTube does.
But yeah, I think so. You combine that.
Why? Speaking of
What?
Christian shit, there's like Christian pamphlets in my car and a vote for Dorothy Patterson. Ugh. God damn it, guys.
This is why you must live in South Africa, where no one can put shit on your car because we have seven.
I don't want this shit. I don't pay attention to politics.
We will rock the zombie apocalypse here in South Africa. We got fucking walls, electric fences, spikes, guards around every single.
The last time I heard about stuff going on in South Africa, the first thing I thought of was at the very beginning of RoboCop, when they have the commercial for the car protection device that like locks you in the seat and electrocutes you. I'm like,
oh my god.
Well, I mean,
hey,
speaking of like. I suppose we haven't done a podcast in a while, so I haven't actually had a chance to talk about our brush with how a bunch of thieves managed to incite a near civil war in order to rob a bunch of businesses.
Hell yeah!
Oh my god! What?
So. This was a whole.
Tell us about what goes in the land down under.
Basically, I'm going to tell you the story and like the events in which we discovered this.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first big thing was that finally the time came to arrest Jacob Zuma.
Okay.
And he was asked to report to prison, and he did not. And the difficulty that was then being faced was like, well, what do you do when your former president refuses to report to prison after being instructed by a court, by the Constitutional Court, which is our equivalent to the Supreme Court. And so he goes up to he goes up to his house in KwaZulu-Natal. That place is a fucking fortress / resort. But the the thing is that KwaZulu-Natal that's ostensibly his home turf. It isn't just an ANC province, it is a Zuma province specifically, because right now the ANC is quite massively divided between its current leadership and our current president Cyril Ramaphosa versus our former president Jacob Zuma. The police are then instructed, right, if we get to Wednesday, if we get to this date, you have permission to break down his door. You have the warrant. Go and take him into custody and drag him to prison.
Oh fuck!
At which point, a fuckload of his supporters started surrounding their house, and it was basically like, we will attack the police if they come anywhere near him. And so some tension was brewing. And then eventually, the night came and Zuma handed himself in, and he went to prison willingly, and so the thing is that starting from the next day, riots across the country in major cities, an absolute fuckload of riots with a fuckload of looting. And I mean, you are seeing this stuff on. They're posting this on YouTube. They're posting this on Instagram. They're posting this on TikTok, and it's not just like, it's not, and it is the people who are looting who are posting these videos.
Yeah.
Like you've got these videos of like this guy, basically walking into a game, which is our equivalent of Walmart. He walks into game, grabs like a fucking 40-inch TV, goes back out to his car, and he's now just struggling to get this fucking, to get this TV into his old beater. You've got people stealing like cake and eating it, like rubbing their faces. Like they just
That's
go
a weird thing to steal.
to Checkers or to a spa and they grab those are grocery stores and brands in South Africa, and they just go to the dessert aisle and they're like opening up a thing of cake, shoving their faces in it, eating it, and leaving. It was a whole fucking thing. But in and amongst that, a thing we noticed was that an absolute fuckload of people were targeting warehouses, getting into warehouses and just leaving with boxes of shit, all prepackaged before it got anywhere. They're leaving with the TVs, they're leaving with smart tech and stuff like that. Which hilariously, so my mother works for one of the phone companies. Who one of the things they do is they install a lot of the chips, the data chips in these smart TVs so they can connect to the internet, and they just turn them all off. The company remotely just deactivated all of the stolen TVs.
Oh damn!
But
that's funny.
But the thing is that later it turned out that a lot of this was incited by the thieves, whose plan was to target the warehouses. It was a mess of like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that filter onto like all the streams, like became public thing again.
It really was a whole fucking process, and it also really did not help the Rona down here because at that point, at that point, only doctors, frontline workers, and so on had been given the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
It has only, as of like last week, I think, been made available to minors. I think last month was when it was made available to like 24 to 35. So it was we got it pretty late. But that no one involved in these protests were vaccinated. No one. Not help our numbers.
So it sounds like you got another outbreak then, huh, Vermont?
So that was that is an update on the South African political situation. Things stabilized and steadied after that, and it was deeply, deeply cathartic to see pictures of Zuma in prison.
I imagine so. It sounds like a lot of stuff happened the last couple years. So
this just sounds like it happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that too.
So there's your update from South Africa.
Yay!
It sounds like the plot to a heist movie.
It absolutely does. Like, it doesn't sound real at all.
Actually, now that I think about it, fuck no! It was the plot to the first Mistborn book. That like one. Holy shit!
That's funny.
I don't know Mistborn, so you'll have to TLDR us.
Oh, it makes sense because you're not really a big fantasy fan. Think Lord of the Rings, except the Dark Lord 1, and the book is about a bunch of thieves who are now planning to rob him.
Oh, sweet.
And their plan is to incite rebellion across the region so that and start a war between all the royalties or like the noble houses, just so that the army will be too busy and too distracted and not notice a bunch of thieves sneaking into the Dark Lord's, fucking castle.
Hell yeah.
To steal his shit.
Bag secured.
It is surprisingly hilarious.
That is funny. I like that.
So, you want an update from the biggest little country within the United States, i.e. Texas?
It is very easy to hear about Texas.
God damn it, our fucking governor's a moron! Like, so when school started up, right, he's like, no mask mandates, fuck it, nobody has to be vaccinated, you're good, you're fine, just go to school, right? But the actual school districts themselves, so like Dallas County, San Antonio County, Houston County, literally the 4 biggest counties within Texas, all banded together and said, fuck this guy, mask mandates, and if you're eligible, you have to be vaccinated. Like, fuck it. So, a lot of schools, like, they either didn't open up, like, they're still doing online schooling. They're either offering a mix of online and in-person schooling, or they're just like, no, you have to wear a mask, you have to do this, you have to do that. And they're just like, fuck what the governor says. Like, they don't give a shit. During our freeze, the great freeze of Texas, 2021, which was fabulous, Ted Cruz actually decided that he was going to go to Mexico, right? And when he came back, I told Lucas, I was like, hey, so when he comes back, bet you $30 that he blames his family. And sure as hell, he's like, oh, my daughter wanted to go to Mexico. I wanted to be a good dad, so I took her and her friends. I'm so sorry. But at least I came back and handed out water bottles. Like, no, Ted Cruz, we didn't need water bottles. We got water all over the place. We could just pick it up from the ground. What we needed was a good infrastructure for our power system. They still haven't finished doing any updates from the power system, and we're predicted to get another big freeze this year.
Yeah, I remember that when I was in Virginia and there was that cold snap where, was it Atlanta got like 1 inch of snow? And it's like, yeah, just some places have no contingency plans for like 100-year weather conditions. And I guess I say that from California where we get random shit weather all the time. But like, yeah, that's not good.
It's absolutely insane because they have contingency plans for flooding. Yeah, whenever you go buy a house, like, your realtor will be like, oh, this is a 200-year floodplain, it's a 100-year floodplain, and the last time it flooded was only, like, 10 years ago, so you're good for the next 80 years, 90 years, or whatever. So that will be, like, a selling point in Texas, is you're on a 200-year floodplain or whatever, Texas. And the higher the number for the floodplain, obviously the more money you pay. So, with this, though, the last time they got a big freeze like this, I believe, was in the 80s, if I remember right. So it was only like 40 years ago. So the fact that we have another big freeze and, people dying from that, like, it's crazy that they had no way of fixing it. And the people who were out of power, like my friends who were just down the road from me, like, they didn't have power for 4 days. We had power. We didn't have any issues. But they didn't have power for 4 days, and my friend, all of her fish ended up dying. Their cats almost died because it got so cold. But it was bad. So I had to like convince them to like let me go and give them firewood. Like, here, have firewood, have the gift of warmth. Like, please. And then Lucas and I ended up just being chauffeurs the entire time for our friends because we're the only ones who are used to driving in snow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we still had our chains and everything from when we were in Oregon. Like, I still had my chains, so I just put the chains on the Explorer, Lucas's car, and we were good. Like, we just drove around. We decided not to have the chains on one time because the roads were pretty much clear, and we're like, let's do donuts. So we did ice donuts.
See, it was so much fun. Chains, but I've driven quite a bit on snow and black ice and stuff, so I feel like I might be able to help in such a situation.
Right, the chains are good for if the roads haven't been cleared out.
Yeah.
And if there's like a lot of snow and stuff, it just helps with traction. You just have to be careful because if you drive with them on concrete, the chains ends up heating up and melting your tires. So that's fun. But the black ice, it's very interesting, and you get the most awful smell, so you can tell whenever you went over concrete because you can smell it.
Oh, God.
It's so bad. But what was I saying? So we just went to a Walmart parking lot, and I decided to teach my friends how to drive in snow. They were terrified. They're like, oh my God, like, this is so dangerous. But this Walmart parking lot had like one lamppost and none of those little like bumps that mark where the parking spaces are. So it was like a completely empty parking lot, like totally free to do whatever we wanted. So I was like, all right, so what I want you to do is drive as fast as you can and twist the wheel. And they're like, what? And I'm like, do it. Fishtail. Do it. So they're like, all right. So they drove as fast as they were willing to, and then like tweaked the wheel enough to fishtail. And I'm like, all right, steer where you want to go. And I'm like directing them on how to get out of a fishtail. And it was hilarious, like watching people from Texas just freak out because they're like, oh, nice. And I'm like, nice, have fun.
That is great.
It's great. Like I loved teaching people how to like drive in the snow because it's like that's my element. Like living in Oregon, I got used to driving in the snow. Like that's actually how when I got my driver's license was in the middle of snow. And I think I got my license because I ended up fishtailing out, scaring the shit out of the driver, scaring the shit out of the proctor. But being able to get back out of it, and he's like, "All right, you pass." I'm like, "Cool, have a good day."
Yeah, no, I always forget too the border. The last time we drove to Oregon, over that range, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot how high this is. Like my mom hates driving in mountains because of the curvy roads and stuff. So I was like, like, oh fuck, I forgot about this. When you're in Sacramento, you think of both directions as the valley, but it's like, oh no, this is like Tahoe. You have to go north over the border.
You gotta do the thing.
You gotta do the thing, yeah. And then last time I was there too, it was on fire, so that was fun.
Oh my god, the fires apparently this year were like super crazy. My parents were sending me pictures. I guess everything was red.
Yeah.
They're like, the sky is red, and I was like, it looks like something out of The Mist.
Yeah.
Is that what that movie called? But it was pretty cool. We haven't had any issues with fires here. Mostly just freezing and flooding, both of which I'm like, alright, this is fine. Other than when my manager, she got super mad at me because, like, I told her if it freezes, I'm not coming into work. And she's like, well, Kim, if it freezes, like, you should come into work because we're probably only going to do carryouts. And I was like, well, Stephanie, I'm a delivery driver.
Yeah.
I don't work inside, so you wouldn't need me anyway.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, Kim, wouldn't you want to make money? And I was like, my life is not worth $4.25 an hour, I promise you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I mean, that's just not a good way to think of it. And I was like, it's absolutely a good way to think of it. Job is a business contract. I can leave whenever I want. You can fire me whenever I want. I am replaceable, and you are replaceable. She's just like, all right. I think she's just like, all right.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about too, speaking of Fallout stuff, speaking of apocalypse stuff, we finished our other big series this year, which was Wasteland Survival Guide. Our last big series of the original 3 Fallout Equestria stuffies.
It makes me sad.
I know. It turned out so well, though, with the final audiobook all pulled together. Like, just really plotting that video and seeing that go live was, like, the biggest catharsis I'd had since Confessions finished. That was so good. I think we lost Vermont at some point.
We might have lost Vermont, but I'm super sad that I can't do stuff. Also, I can't see the chat, so if anybody's, like, messaging, I can't see anything.
Oh, yeah, drop any questions you have for Needle. Needle, do you have a favorite episode to listen to, or a favorite episode that you recorded, by any chance?
Let's see. One of them was definitely the April Fool's one, where, like, Derpy goes crazy, the 2-parter.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one to record. I think it was so funny because, like, Vermont actually, like, I guess Vermont was writing the story while I was venting to him. And I didn't know this, so I was just, like, venting, like, I'm so pissed off, like, I had a really shitty week, and this is what's going on. So Vermont actually took a lot of what I was telling him and turned it into, the audio that you hear Derpy, like, thinking in her head when she's going crazy.
It turned out so funny.
It was definitely really funny, and I was so glad that I was able to get, like, a bunch of my friends to help out, like, being like, Derpy, no! So that was fun. And then, what was another one?
Traps was fun.
Traps was fun. Knots was fun. Everyone's like, knots are so boring! Like, that was definitely one of my favorite ones to record. Another one was, what was that one where I was talking about, like, like having hope within the wasteland.
Like
I like that one.
That was the wasteland. What was it? The Why We Survive.
Yeah, that one. I really liked recording that one because it felt very like motivational. A lot of it, like
That's definitely my second favorite of the ones to write. With the favorite obviously being the one I co-wrote with Sky for the Afterward.
Oh yeah.
I liked recording that one. It made me sad though. Like I had to stop a couple times because like I think we'd been working on it for about 4 or 5 years at that point, so it had been like a big part of my life. Like it really, like, honestly, it helped me get a lot more out of my shell. It helped me become more what's the word? More outgoing. Because like honestly, before I started recording any of that, I wasn't very talkative. Like, I don't know if you remember me when we met at Sac Brody Expo, Sky, but I was just kind of like, alright guys, hello, here's your plushies. That was about it. But after that, like, after starting to record Wasteland Survival Guide, I started to, like, become more outgoing. I went to more conventions that, like, forced me to be more outgoing because I was doing things like panels and like Q&As and like cosplaying. So it was definitely a big part of my life, and like it impacted me in a way that I don't think you guys even know. I made a lot of friends. Like when we did our first panel, I was like so nervous because I had to like read it live and I didn't know what to do. And then like when people were coming up to me and like, hey, can you sign my my book? Can you sign my con book? Can you sign this paper? Can you sign this derby poster? And I'm like, oh my god. Like, I think I went back to the room and like had a mini panic attack.
Oh yeah.
Because like I was so excited, but at the same time like I was so nervous because like I didn't know how people would like me. Because I know at that point like we had the VA Ball Dumble Rat doing derby for a majority of the stuff. So, and then I know with them they became very problematic. So I know that they kind of got removed from the fandom. So I didn't know how people were going to respond to mine. I like to think that mine was similar, but at the same time it was different enough that I made it my own. But yeah.
Speaking of signing things, Skyball, when you sign copies of Homecoming, you should absolutely just cover your face in ink and just like face plant into the front cover.
Oh yeah.
The signature is just your whole face.
No, it's been a fun process. What about you, Vermont? What was your favorite episode to write from the series? I guess aside from the afterward or like the special episodes.
Yeah, okay. So aside from the afterward, it's probably a 2-part tie, but let me just take a very quick squiz down the very helpful playlist that exists. Anyone who hasn't looked at the playlist should definitely do that. Okay, let's see which one. Okay, Building a Shelter was a fun one, if only because it's one of the few ones that I did that was actually informational and actually well researched. So that was definitely a break for me. But what else to do? In retrospect, I'm actually not happy with Manners. I think I was kind of scrambling for something. I really liked Stables, if only because, and I was bringing this up in the Terminal Secrets Director's Commentary that I recorded earlier this week, that when I wrote Stables and referenced that Dutzy is planning to put copies of the Wasteland Survival Guide outside of various stables, I did so knowing that at some point in Terminal Secrets we were gonna have the main characters leaving the vault, and the first thing they find is a copy of the Wasteland Survival Guide with a picture that has a drawing of a muffin and a map to a nearby settlement and a note basically saying, hey, I let the local settlement know that there's a stable nearby and I asked them if they can just keep an eye out for you and and just give you a hand. So there's that, like, one of my favorite moments in Terminal Secrets just planted in stables. So I think that remains kind of a favorite one. Also because the majority of the episode was written at Stable-Tech. The original draft of it was written. The original version of Stables was also written maybe 10 minutes, let's say 20 minutes before a writing meeting, in which I had forgotten that I was supposed to that we were doing the first Wasteland Survival Guide meeting of Stable-Tech. And I'd forgotten that I was supposed to write a script. And so with like 20 minutes to go before this meeting starts, I'm here typing this fucking script out as fast as I can.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we get into the meeting and Mohan's like, I hope everyone worked hard on their scripts. And I'm like, yes, I did. I absolutely did. I worked on this all week. This is draft 3.
Oh, nice.
Mm. He saw right through my bullshit the moment we actually went through the script, and he's like, this sucks. There's no structure to this. There's no this to this. So, but to be fair, when I went and sat down to write and we're doing Wasteland Survival Guide stuff, and I see this old copy of Stables, and I think, yes, I've already got a Wasteland Survival Guide chapter written. My work for this week's episode is done already. It's great. I pop in, I read it, and I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. Needs a complete rewrite.
Very nice.
So I think there's a lot of history behind the Stables chapter, so I think I'm going to pick that as my favorite.
All right, that is a good one. I've been looking through my list myself. My list being the wallpapers folder. For those who haven't seen, under the big combined video, you can download the full Wasteland Survival Guide audiobook, as well as pictures and the PDF of the finalized book included. So that's a lot of fun. I guess look at the early stuff. You can't go wrong with the classic foreword. That was just like when we were like pitching the idea, and we were both working on that Christmas episode. But I'm like, okay, we need literally like an intro. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, how are we gonna set this up? And so it was cute, and it was a fun, simple thing that Needle could cut her teeth on. Whatever teeth are left after the bombs. But also, I loved it so much because of how the character design for how Ditzy draws herself turned out. Like, yes. I just fell in love with how well this worked.
God, that was cute.
So she draws herself like the same kind of way, like like a cartoon character, where she's got her hair folds in the same little ways, and she's got the little tendons showing on her hooves and stuff. So
I was so nervous about the foreword. Like, I was like, oh no, I sound so bad. I sound so nervous. But like, I mean, it sounds as you would expect for a first time thing. Like a first time go around. It sounds like what you would expect.
Yeah.
Not great, but it is what it is. Like, it was my first time ever doing something like that.
God, I can't believe it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years since we started it. We the foreword dropped in like December 16th of 2016.
Can we do like Can we do an anniversary thing December 20th if everybody's free?
I mean, technically, this is the 5-year anniversary stream for the studio, but yeah, we definitely should do more podcasts.
We should. I mean, 2020 was a rough year for everybody. We just kind of got stuck, and we're like, we have to kind of work through our own issues. I'm able to look at the chat now, and there are no questions for me. How dare? Don't you know I'm the star of the show?
I know one of my favorite things about the series though was getting to do all these arts. Like I had a lot of fun just working at a bunch of little clever visual references or just stuff that turned out well. Like Manners, this is like the Charlie Brown-esque like fighting faces.
Oh, I loved those. I think of the like visual puns and things you did for the art, the two favorites and a tiny bit of but no, but there's so many good ones. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna because you nailed a lot of them for for my ones, but I think like you did such good work on on the art for some of the chapters I wrote. Like, I love Why We Survive, how dark the imagery is of the fact that it's a gun barrel with a single bullet left. The Amoria's loins, the graphic you did for Amoria's loins, fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Oh fuck, where did I put that now? It's so simple but subtle, and once you know, then you know. Then you know.
I really liked the one for Amoria's loins. While I'm not happy with how I wrote the chapter, I love, and you showed it earlier, but I love the art for knots.
Oh yeah. Where's Knots? Right there. Yeah, it's like, the chapter kind of gives up on itself, so like she wouldn't draw like a normal title screen either. It would be like, these are my problems, and the knots hold me to my problems.
Oh man. Oh god, the birds and the bees that you did that's also with her just winking.
More of those subtle puns.
That was a good one. Settlements was just a really solid piece of art.
Settlements.
Oh my god,
yeah. Where was that? That was the settlement building mine, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that idea from the Plastic Beach, the Gorillaz album.
Okay. And the farming with the derpy gothic was just chef's kiss.
Yeah, I'm like, how would she do this for farming? Like, it's just standing with a little mannequin.
I love it. I've got God, so much of this the art is really funny. It's so charming. Armor with like how big the helmet is.
Oh yeah.
Damn. There's some really, really fun art. The Gummy with 3 eyes. The Sweet Apple Acres alcohol one. The invert you did for back ponies.
Oh yeah, that was so incredibly easy to do. I'm like, okay, can I just like invert all the colors for the whole video? And bam, it was that easy.
But going off of that, there's like a lot of things that we actually kind of scrapped from Wasteland Survival Guide. A lot of ideas that we had that didn't make it through.
A lot of my dumb ideas, especially that I'm glad I cut.
Yeah, Vermont had this whole like storyline where like Derpy goes on like a mission with like a group of ponies or whatever, and she's writing her Wasteland Survival Guide while she's traveling or whatever. Stupid. I mean, it was a charming idea at the time. It was a charming idea at the time, but like looking back on it, it's like, Vermont, what were you doing?
It didn't belong in Wasteland Survival Guide. It was hijacking too much of the story for my own nonsense. It's definitely one of those things where like, it was like, why is this not just its own story? And then I threw it out.
Yeah. It was funny though, like obviously you had a lot of fun with all the like more like what's the right word? Like we had some chapters that were like bare bones survival, but then a lot of the ones that were more like heady and like more spiritual, I guess you would say. Anyway, in terms of like my favorite of each, like there were the Balefire, Taint, and Pink Cloud. Like I love some of this just basic lore chapters where it's like, okay, we got to make sure like kind of like I think all of our properties, we've made them so they can still be fully enjoyed without actually having Redfall at Equestria, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, like especially now that they're done and that they're in like their correct order, we usually retread ground as you would do like in the case of Confessions. As a radio host, you would give someone a quick recap of what they're supposed to understand for the context of something. So, DJ Pony's like, oh, our friends the Steel Rangers and what they do or whatnot. So
Absolutely.
And then in terms of research, farming was fun just because I went through like 15 pages from like Poor Richard's Almanac and all these like farming resource sites because I was like, I really want it to be like somewhat like real, like kind of like, you know, if people actually tried to use this to survive, that it'd be close enough of on the mark. But then in terms of my favorites, I like some of the special music episodes too that we did. So like, Cannibalism, which is what, Scroll, was it Scroll Keeper? Someone brought up. Yeah, and it's where just doing the black and white and then pulling out the old spooky 10 seconds 10 music, Blood and Bones. It works so well, and getting to write about favorite cannibal stories and work that into
I don't know about you guys. I absolutely loved the music documentary wrap-up thing that Kelly did.
Yes, the Solstice cover.
Oh, yeah, and so I was heading there too, where then Winter Solstice is probably my favorite episode that I wrote, because that was just all around turned out so beautifully, and Kelly turned that cover around in like 3 weeks too. Oh my gosh.
Man, I really, really enjoyed that cover. It was a really solid, like the whole episode as well, like the actual writing of the episode, was really strong, and the music is just really gorgeous.
It really is. I told him, like, you know, can you do like a Christmassy sounding, you know, simple cover of Winter Wrap Up? And he's like, oh, okay, let me go take a look at this. Just came back in
That's
like
a
3
great
weeks
Kelly
with that.
voice. Speaking of Kelly, I gotta say, when I watched the new Pony movie and they interrupted one song just to have like an English dude with a hat introduce himself, I just thought of him. I thought of Kelly. In the Angry Mob saga, they're like, "Look at this guy! Hi, my name's Rob," and I'm like, "Ah, yeah, that's Kelly.
It's Kelly.
That's funny.
I choose to believe that's Kelly Horse."
I think for me, like my personal I guess experience, my favorite personal experience working with Wasteland Survival Guide, was obviously working with Sketchy. Like I love Sketchy, Scratchy, Feather Scratch. It's like, what do we call him? I've been calling him Daniel. I've been calling him Daniel. Yeah. But I loved working with him. Like I honestly, like I think that the Vampire like 2-parter was one of my favorites. It really kind of like I wanted to go. The storyline is so terrible. Blah blah blah. I was like, who are you? I will fight you. Moline has the best story. I will fight you. And then I know Vermont's never been to any of our cons, but like just the turnout that we always had with the people wanting to come and see us at like BabsCon. Like honestly, I missed BabsCon 2020 because like we didn't have that same experience where like people were just showing up and like chatting with us, and I'm like, oh my.
Well, not
I just love people coming.
Before Rona happened, we had the plan to get almost everyone together. I think Kelly was up in the air, but Vermont was about to get a plane ticket, and we were all going to converge at BabsCon, and then literally the whole world shut down.
Money.
Vermont had the money to go. Like we were all excited.
And then I was like, oh no, can't continue your visa because no one's allowed to leave the house.
Right. I'm hoping BabsCon, maybe not 2021, obviously, because it's coming up in the next few months, but maybe 2022 we could potentially, try that again, like get everybody together and... Yeah, actually, hold on. The reason why Vermont couldn't come is because the world couldn't have the 4 horsemen converge in one place.
That's right. Then the end of times.
Too much chaos.
And Vermont, Kelly was up in the air because he's pestilence.
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck. Oh, I got that. Okay.
So that's the reason why we couldn't actually be together, is because we can't have the 4 horsemen together in one place.
We never did get art of our 4 characters as the 4 horsemen.
No, we kept meaning.
I think I'm gonna have Lucas do it. I'll have Lucas do it when he's not busy with commission.
And then, of course, Vermont was famine because he's the African.
Yep, he's the African in the group, and then I was war. Kelly was pestilence, and then you were death because you kill everybody.
Yes.
My God, I think the I'm just going through the EAST Corp thing now, through our channel from oldest to now, looking at a lot of the stuff we've made, and I just want to give a brief shout out to how, since it's also been, I think it's been 4 years now, for Twin Terrors.
Oh yeah,
because that was a really awesome one-off that we did.
It really was. Let me find the.
I helped with that, didn't I?
Pardon?
Didn't I help with that?
No, you weren't in that. It was just Sky and I. Because
there was a spooky one I can't remember. Like we did a one-off of, and I helped Sky with.
Yeah, the poetry thing. The what was that called?
That's right.
Oh yeah, Come to Me. That was it. Yeah, no, you helped me with the Come to Me. You were the spooky at the end.
Spooky book.
The challenge with Twin Terrors was that Sky and I we each had to write a 25 minute piece, but we also part of the challenge was we both had to voice them.
Yes.
It was like each of us had to be a complete like one-man team on it. I think I still think it came out great. I think Quiet Black was kind of weird, but I still stand by quite a lot of it. I especially just stand by the idea. Shadows was just a really solid piece all around.
Shadows is funny because it was a segment I took out of back when Confessions was going to be 13 episodes, which fuck that. After they became 4 hours long, but yeah, and so when I was cannibalizing the 4 weaker links, that was sort of one aspect that was going to be in an episode of basically a blind character having to navigate their way through the wasteland, and they have a sort of radiation vision. Yeah, and so the shadows are how like ghouls see the other living creatures of their voids, their black holes where radiation pours into them, and so they see things like that in like the opposite.
I might steal that idea from you, Sky.
I know.
That sounds cool. I might steal that.
Little Philly, and it was all sad. He just wants his mommy and all that. So
I think that was really solid. I think I wrote so much of Quiet Black Sleep Deprived, and then I ad-libbed a ton of the script while I was performing, which is it's something I do a lot whenever I'm performing, and it's something that I've written and I know I'm like handling the editing for, but normally I'll only have like 1 or 2 lines at a time, so it's not too much of a train wreck if I ad-lib. With Quiet Black, it's like, okay, cool, no, here's a 25-minute monologue.
Hell yeah.
So I think I wrote about 18 minutes worth of it, and about 7 minutes of it was just off the top of my head ad-libbing. Which really
can we finally talk about the secret that wasn't super secret in Terminal Secrets with Vermont?
Which
Where
secret?
Vermont was the overmayor, but his voice was so altered.
Oh yeah,
yes,
in what was it? Hunger, where you were the second overmayor, or third.
In Hunger, I was the second overmayor, because we knew we could more or less get it to work because it was not the first time that I'd played a woman with a vaguely mechanical sounding voice, because just a little bit before that I'd asked Kayla to voice act a character for one of my university films, and she was like, all right, cool, but then I ended up doing it myself and pitching the voice and making myself sound like a woman, so much so to the extent that when we showed the film at the screening to the lecturers, Kayla actively said to me, "Who's this bitch?"
I didn't love that though.
Hell yeah.
So pissed at me, she thought I'd cast someone else. She didn't
Aw.
realize
That's hilarious.
She didn't realize it didn't have that I'd got the scheduling wrong and booked her for the wrong time, and so I had to rush it myself.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but
Speaking of Kayla,
yes.
oh god. I was gonna say, speaking of Kayla, the scream that she does in Untypical for the dragon, my god.
Ooh, yes, her because she does this that weird like sucking in heavy metal scream. I don't actually know how it works, but fucking
It's called a fry scream.
oh, well, yep, that is a thing that she does, and it is cool.
It's beautiful. That is why she is my wife, and her and Maddie are my wife, and I don't care what you say because they are mine now.
Ooh.
I have claimed them,
You and Matt
and they are both okay with this.
have some great chemistry in the last Terminal Secrets episode.
So Lucas and I are looking at moving back to Los Angeles, and Maddie's like, "Let's hang out, let's go get coffee, be my friend." And I was like, "All right, Maddie, I love you."
Yeah, as Sky is saying, like the chemistry in the Lost Terminal Secrets, because I rewatched it for the first time in 2 years when I was recording the director's commentary, and it really was awesome to see the chemistry that like the whole cast brought this really strong chemistry from Needle and Maddie managing to make it to make a believable friendship for Stella and Butterfly start to form over the course of an hour and a half. But then also, like, I Am Shadow, Kayla, Whisper, and Kirby Crackle managing to hold up that first 40 minutes where in a scene where Kirby is the only existing character, and the other three actors had to kind of slot in and make it feel like they'd been a part of this group for 3 years, and we just didn't know about it because of the time skip, and they fucking nailed it. Holy crap.
Yeah, I gotta say, as far as like last minute casting goes, that's probably one of my favorite Shadow parts. She did such a good job with the Overmare character.
She killed it with the Overmare character. She did such a good job. It was like, it's one of those things where I genuinely struggle to think of Topaz, the Overmare, and Yentl as characters who only appear in the last episode. They feel like they've been there the entire time and it's not down to the writing, it is down to how good the voice actors did and how excellently Kelly cut it all together. And god, the score, oh my god, the score.
Extremely underrated. If you haven't listened to the Terminal Secrets finale soundtrack, you've got to go to the playlist. It's so great as an EP.
Beautiful. It is only 20 minutes long. It doesn't take up, it's not even like it takes up too much time, and it is really well made. Kelly just absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. It was actually really funny listening to it again, because I forgot that the Terminal Secrets finale is kind of like the Lord of the Rings book, in that it has actual pauses in the story, because now we're going to have a song break. Like, we get to the end, and it does the Return of the King thing, where it's like, climactic event happens, camera cuts to black, we have a whole ass song that plays with no text, no nothing, and people think it's ending, and then we cut back and we've got a whole other scene where we're saying goodbye to more characters, and we think it's going to be the end, and it cuts to black, and now we've got Skybolt's cover of Take Me Home playing, and you think, alright, cool, this must be the end of the story, we've said goodbye to these characters, and then we cut it, and no, now we're in an episode of Confessions of a Wasteland Pony. Are we going to get the end of the story now?
Nope.
I definitely like what you guys did, where you tied it in together with Confessions. I thought that was really cool.
That was cool.
Honestly,
very nice to facilitate a lot of references to Confessions. Like, like allowing confessions to be a part of the story, like letting me use the prototype Sentinel droid for Stella's body, like letting me use the EAST Corp, an older version of the EAST Corp Gauntlet, for that Fractal stole because Stabletech hated him and he couldn't get a pip buck.
It all
We got to tie it in with so many things. Like, we got to bring in Derpy, like as a quick little reference. Oh, there's a book here. We don't know where it came from. I got to be Little Pip for a second. I don't know if anybody like caught that, but it was awesome. Like, I had so much fun. Sky got to be his
I got to be Red Eye.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's it.
Yay!
I was like, who's that character that Sky's been wanting to do Red Eye? Sky got to do Red Eye, so I got to do Little Pip.
So good.
It was so much fun, and then like I also kind of went back and listened to it too, and like the change that happens between like the first time I took over for the character and like the end, there's like a huge difference, and it's really crazy to hear me like do all the different characters at that point in time where I was basically every single female character in existence for EAST Corp because we lost track of so many of our VAs. Being able to, yeah, it was a rough transition, man. But I got to be like so many different characters just in Hunger alone. Like, I think I got to be like 6 different characters at one time. And the like getting to like hear the just in the final episode, getting able to hear how Butterfly evolves from like hating Stella, like get fucked, to hey, we're kind of stuck in this together at this point. Might as well hang out or something, make the best of it. Like, just the evolution of their relationship throughout that final episode was insane.
Also, just with the finale visuals, getting to see the art was great, but then to make all the art memes was even greater.
Oh my god, yes!
Oh my god, there were so many Butterfly memes relating to me, like, ridiculous.
It was,
you knocked it out of the park.
I say that Butterfly is my long-lost cousin because her last name is Stitch, too.
I am not a smart pony. Correct. Your neurological potential is average at best. The thing I love about this in particular is that this 100, like, you could 100% buy that as just a line from the show. Or like, also, speaking of things that I managed to get Skybolt to be cast as, we got Terminal Secrets 4, we also managed to make up for the other stable tech thing, and Sky got to be Steel Hooves.
Oh, I was just looking at the other day. That was so fun. So finally, after so many years.
I think my favorite one, though, is Sky when in episode 1, Dose, where he was like, talking in the world voice like this, and he's like, fuck you, bitch. I was like, god damn it, Sky. I don't know why, but that caught me like off guard. I was listening to it while I was doing deliveries, and all of a sudden I just hear, fuck you, bitch, and I'm like, oh my god, Sky. Just the voice that you did for that particular character was hilarious.
Yeah, so it's been fun times all around.
We gotta stop making this sound so sad, because it's right now it feels like we're gonna be like, alright guys, closing the door, bye, like, we're not closing the doors. We're just trying to figure out new projects and stuff.
No, I mean, this is a victory lap. We finished all of our Nuclear Horse productions, and we should be having fun with it. Yeah.
Oh god. I felt so bad about that in retrospect, because I genuinely I felt so bad about realizing that, oh shit, I've killed all of Skybolt's characters to the point that he actually had to ask me to spare at least one of them.
So I could use it for confessions. I needed my sweet baby Pink Pippin.
Pinkin.
Pinkin.
At that point, it was like I remember when I was sitting down and thinking, okay, cool, I need to kill off I want to gas an entire stable. I want to do a stable that we know. And then I go back and I think to it, okay, cool. I've already gassed Skybolt's first stable. I'm planning on doing something with Arya. I'm planning on doing a spin-off with Arya Moon, so I need her to survive. And she's the only character from that stable anyone actually cared about. I could do the Hunger stable. Mint Cream story takes place 200 years ago. I can't gas her stable because she's already dead. Skybolt killed everyone in stable 10.
That's true. That was me. Yeah.
And then I go back and I'm like, all right, cool. I can either bite the bullet and give up on doing an Arya Moon spin-off and kill her stable, or I can just kill Sky's stable. So it's like, fuck it. I killed the Hunger stable, which becomes more frustrating further down the line when given that I did eventually do an Arya Moon spin-off, but as its own completely original IP, and I could have killed her off in the Terminal Secrets finale instead of the Hunger stable. At least one of Sky's stables could have survived. So it was something I noted while I was recording earlier this week. That like, shit, I killed so many named characters. To try and like increase the pressure of the moment.
Skulls for the Skull Throne.
Skulls for the Skull Throne. Oh god.
No, so it turned out great, and even the sort of last minute of having to break it into like two or three parts. I think 2 parts, but then in the audio it's 3 parts of Kill the World and then the Stable Dweller. That was it. All worked out well. In case people don't know, like this Terminal Secrets audiobook is 2 years old now, roughly, right? Like that was September of 2019.
Yes, yeah, it is more than 2 years since it is like 2 years and a month or so.
I gotta listen to that again, just start to finish.
Terminal Secrets finished, and it is. I posted this on the channel. It is on the Discord server. It is 4 years, as of earlier this week, 4 years ago, that I started writing the finale script. Which, I mean, firstly, it was kind of insane because it took 2 years just to get from script to screen. Because it was so complex to write. It was complex for every one of the voices involved. And it was a really complex edit for Kelly to do, and then took forever for me to like do the visual side of it. It was a real like marathon push to make that over 2 years. But and also kind of funny that if in the picture I showed of the outlining story circle that that I was making, it opens with with a note that says butterfly is running down a hallway. And that was the first beat for the story I'd written, which of course is not how Terminal Secrets begins. At no point in the story, in the finale, did Butterfly ever run down a hallway.
Aw, too lazy.
That got because the original cut, the original like outline story idea for it was that it was all gonna take place in like the week or two after Awake, and it was gonna take place more or less in real time, with Butterfly and Blue Ball trapped together in a room, and Stella occasionally popping in to talk to them. And I think then at some point Butterfly gets isolated, and she and Stella become friends over the course of like 3 days before Butterfly almost starves to death. I think she survived that version of the story though. I think either that or she like kills herself in heroic sacrifice mode. I don't remember, but I remember it being a lot weaker than what we inevitably made.
That was my favorite thing too for Awake, is just getting to create that promo with the short song cover and then doing all the spooky red computer terminal art. Because I personally am proud of how that turned out anyway.
That was so cool. It was really rad.
And we do have that on a shirt if people wanna go to our Redbubble. We did put that out as a shirt at one point. Because I took a lot of time having to edit it to make it look good on a black shirt, so check that out.
Oh yeah, I remember. Like you had to put there must have been a pain in the
for the transparencies. Oh, we probably should have asked the fans too. I'm sorry, fans. What was your... Well, I guess a lot of them mentioned their favorite episodes like Wasteland Survival Guide and stuff. List your favorite episode of Wasteland Survival Guide and Term Secrets and Confessions. Just cause.
So, anybody else hear about the fact that Equestria Daily is now gone?
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yes, Equestria Daily is gone.
Google accidentally marked it as spam.
Trixie spam.
So, as it stands, if you try and get into Equestria Daily, oh, it's back up.
Aw, that's funny though.
Yeah, so for about, I'd say like 12 or so hours, if you tried to get into Equestria Daily, it just popped up an error saying, like, bad gateway.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I learned about it because Horse News posted on Twitter basically being like, as of now, we are the largest, with the largest aggregation of MLP content, all praise Horse News, or something along those lines. Like, they need influence. Because, everyone was just going to them to find out what the hell was happening.
One great thing about Equestria Daily is with their tagging system for posts, if you go under the radio play tag, literally I think half of all posts since at least like the site began or something are just our stuff, which is really nice to see.
We basically are the Equestria Daily radio play tag. Like, or it's definitely been... It's definitely been a while because we haven't sent them a radio play since we finished the Wasteland Survival Guide. Yeah, there we go. So since we posted the 5-hour version on the 9th of March, but so everything they've posted in radio plays since then obviously hasn't had us. But if you scroll down, it's radio plays Wasteland Survival Guide. Next post, radio plays Wasteland Survival Guide Hunter Gathering. Next post, radio play, Surviving Raiders. Next post, not us. Next post, Wasteland Survival Guide, Dentistry and Disease. Next post, not us. Two posts in a row that aren't us. I'm impressed. There were 2 whole posts in a row that weren't us. Before we then get to Dead Tree, which was half us.
Yeah, that's right. It's like might as well.
Dead trees, bleh.
Yeah.
Then Bat Ponies, then Rare Tribes, then the radio host.
That was the great thing about that live premiere, too, of the finale, was that I didn't tell people the name of it until the reveal in the live stream of, like, this is my confession, or whatever. So that was fun.
That and Red Reaper. Shit.
Do you guys remember when we had the fight with Dead Tree? We're like, fuck you, Dead Tree! No, fuck you, EAST Corp! Do you remember that?
Oh, we won. Absolutely.
Oh, we totally won. We had the last post, therefore we won.
Yes, we did.
Oh, hello, speaking of which.
Yes, we won. And then irony happened. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Cinder.
All over my desk.
Hello.
Oh, and we have Chris too.
Yo, don't scream. Don't scream. I got headphones in, man. That fucking hurt. No screaming. My ears.
Anyway, I heard mention of Dead Tree. Hi.
Hi.
Ow, ow. Ow, ow. Hello.
Alright, well, it looks like you guys are gonna start having too many people pop in. I'm gonna dip because I'm at work and we're about to get busy. So I'll let you guys have fun.
Goodbye, Nettle.
So-
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
Of
guys.
course. I will
Bye.
drive like I stole it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just
So
popping
very
in.
carefully, as to not to arouse suspicion.
I knocked an entire. I
At
knocked
this
an
point,
entire
we've got too
block
many
of
people
coke
talking over
onto
each other.
my,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Skybolt.
I knocked an entire glass of coke onto my table, and
So
I believe that my table is now very sticky.
yeah, so I guess the fidget energy really came through, huh?
Sorry, I kind of just showed up to answer any questions that anyone had.
And I kind of like, okay, Cinder is turning. I want to join too. Whee!
Oh no.
Whee! So yeah.
Yeah, Cinder, is there anything you wanted to talk about? Dead Tree production or confessions or landmines? Anything else? Feel free, ladies, to bring any new topics to the stream that you would like.
I'll admit, I'm still surprised you actually used my landmines episode.
Oh no, it was great. Yeah.
I'm still surprised that got made. I also probably ended up on at least 2 lists after writing that.
Oh, yeah, you know a lot about this.
Yeah, that's one of the more researched episodes.
Product testing.
No, it's fine, don't worry about it. But regarding Dead Tree, I'm actually not working on that project anymore.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to see how you wanted to say that.
Yeah. So, I went from being on 3/4 of all of Equestria Daily's podcast posts to only being on about half of them, or a third. So, that's fun.
Knuckles.
I'll admit, though, I'm still expecting you in Vermont to throw me in a room and say, "Okay, you're directing the Fallout Equestria audiobook."
Oh. If Vermont wants to helm that, go crazy. It's a little bit of both.
No, I think he wants me to.
Oh.
What do I want? What do I want to helm? Sorry, I popped out for a second.
I'm just gonna say it now. Can I be Philomena? Can I be the bird?
Sure, you can be the bird.
Squawk.
You can be the bird, but only if only if Mohan can be Velvet.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat will not know this because we never got around to me posting the video. Shit, I should find the video this week.
Whatever
I should find the
status
video
is,
this
just throw
week.
it out there.
So, a while ago, Skybolt, Mohan, and I sat down and re-recorded a comedic joke reading of an episode 6, I think, of Fallout Equestria, the animated series of one of the original stable text scripts, in the style that we had originally done with the writing meetings, in which we would use the most ridiculous voices. Sky would come in and drop some of these really silly voices, and Mohan almost always read Velvet Remedy's lines with the voice of Stitch. But then started just ad-libbing in these extra lines about the fact that Velvet actually just really wants to eat birds.
And
Saving Philomena for a special snack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was this point, I think, when we were in when we were doing the when we were working on the season 2 scripts, where I killed a griffin, and Mohan just pipes up, "Can we eat him?"
No.
Oh my god.
No.
Those are.
That's amazing.
I do not want to, because if I think about how bad my writing used to be when I was, an edgy teenager.
Hell yeah.
The fact that anyone trusted me enough to give me stable text, to give me animated series scripts was a bad idea. I would hate to see. I would really hate to see how bad my writing was. This would have been 2013, 8 years ago.
Oh fuck! It was 8 years ago, wasn't it? Oh god.
Oh wow, I feel old.
Oh god, there it is. Found it. I found it.
Oh, drop me the pic.
The arthritis, it's kicking in. It's too.
Oh my gosh! I
too
just
old.
saw what Chris sent me. Oh, that's cute. Oh. Okay, give me a sec.
I thought you might like one of those.
Standard
Also-
Viking height. What does that mean?
Basically, Sleepy Hyper Chris and some people who think everything I say is funny. So basically, we were talking about the height of people, and Hyper me, we already had talked about Viking and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm like standard female Viking height. How are you? And the whole crowd started laughing, and then a friend of mine just like yanked this together and just like, here, this. I think it was the editor.
Standard Viking height. That's amazing.
So, that happened. Also, if you move the little bowl with the flybat, with the little bat pony, it kind of looks like no, sorry, helt stille her. Dette er gale.
What?
This is kind of
You're speaking fancy again.
yes, I know. Ho. It stands completely still. I know what's his name again? Diamondback. Endelig! Diamondback. Holy moly.
Oh,
Brian,
Diamondback.
why are you slow? Like, if you're moving the pictures and you see Diamondback and the first picture he had, it kind of looks like he's going, ta-da! On my photo. And I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. Yeah. It's our JoJo Diamondback.
I present to you a bowl of bats.
There you go.
Oh.
Oh fuck! I just downloaded this. Where'd it go?
But so funny thing is, I actually have the entirety of K-Cat's Fallout Equestria in script format.
Ooh.
In script form, damn.
Yeah, with a full cast list, including background characters, in order of appearance.
Interesting.
I've had it for a while. It was actually prepared by a person that I've worked with
Oh fudge.
in the past who tried making a Fallout Equestria audiobook before, and it didn't go so well, as those projects tend not to. So yeah, I've just kind of got that on standby. Vermont will mention it every so often, like, "Hey, are you gonna do that?"
Oh wow, that. Good God.
I'm gonna make it like too big. That's standard Viking height. Too
That's
big.
standard Viking height. That is adorable.
Like you're walking in front of the camera.
Unnskyld, sorry, kommer bort her. Jeg skal bare hente noen mjøter på hjørnet. Sorry, hei.
Wow,
for
Viking
people
just intensifies.
Just everyone else is like, do you know what you said? No, just roll with it.
Just don't look at her and let her pass.
Don't make no
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, I've got to vanish as well.
No, Jam.
Unfortunately, I
get-
kind of as
Sweetie.
part of the Oh my God, that the giant Cruz is just
I have to shoot the
Like, hello.
popping on screen and then popping off screen and then resizing and then jumping and then replacing my face.
There is no jam anymore. There is only.
There's only Cruz. There is no jam.
I like.
I gotta say,
too. Like, what the just happened?
I'm like, huh? But I did ask you a question in DMs because you might not remember the very random thing that Fidget popped into my head. That might be funny if it's ever used in an episode. If not, it would be funny to have as extra material after an episode.
Oh, I am so looking forward to how much Fidget we're going to be getting soon.
I'm so excited to start working on her.
Oh my god, we are though. Like, we had to put the Aria Moon had to go on another very brief break, but it is back out of said break, and God, y'all, you just aren't ready with what we are going to do with season 2. It is significantly stronger. There's a lot more going on, and whilst I did enjoy and think it was appropriate for season 1 to have its incredibly slow pace and this very esoteric style of writing and monologuing, season 2 will be a lot. Like, it's still got a lot of the monologuing and narration style, but it's a lot faster, it's a lot snappier. I'm actually having trouble putting events into the story without, it's kind of it is actually kind of a railroad. In terms of its pacing, it's going to move very fast.
The pacing is... Everything's been set up now, so the pacing can go on overdrive.
That's true.
Exactly. Like, I don't have to like be concerned about whether or not the audience is going to follow along in like a frantic moment, because we've spent 20 episodes and 4.5 hours explaining it all to the audience. So now we just get to have fun with these concepts.
Yay!
Now chaos
we're
begins.
going to have fun. I believe that's where I should diabolically laugh.
Yeah, maybe fun's not the right word.
Chaos?
Did I save it? I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't going to do this yet, but I think it would be really fun if I did. No one tells Cinder.
Cinder, you don't hear this. Shh.
Nope, that's an empty folder. I'm professional, I promise.
Yes.
Yes, that is it. I'm going to drop this for Sky.
We've got some questions.
For season 2, we've outlined the episode titles. And one certain set of them might just make things might just raise a couple of questions for anyone who is a fan of the show. I've dropped it down in the God chat.
Yes, one sec, I'm downloading.
Oh, right. Quillfeather asks for Mon, question for you: what was the inspiration for Who Needs Heroes Aria Moon? Honestly, this was probably one of the ones that I pulled the least inspiration for. I really just wanted to try and tell a cyberpunk noir story, and maintain a slow pace for it. This was one of the I can point to inspirations for a lot of other shows. And I think in individual episodes I can point to things that inspired me, but overall it didn't it was more just a lot of experimentation and a lot more of like, these are themes I'm interested in. So these are the episode titles. Vaguely work in progress. Some of them are may very well change. But if you look right down to the bottom, you'll notice there's a 4-parter.
Oh no, you're talking about that part? This will be good.
So we've got our episode titles, which also the great cover art here, which the thingy, which is from the end of Aria Moon 15. But we've got Rebooting, Date Night, Never Have I Ever, Graveyards, Beautiful Progress, The Death of Aria Moon, Nothing Will Change, Lights in the Dark, 12 Hours, The Gotcha Movement, The Honeymoon Period, Reasonable Accommodations, Bastard of a Choice, Fever Pitch, Collision Point Part 1, Collision Point Part 2, Collision Point Part 3, and Collision Point Part 4.
You couldn't just say Collision Point Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. You had to say it all.
Once More with Feeling, and When I Am Old. And this is a very, very quick, like I said, it's a quick moving season. And there are a lot of, we are trying to allude to and tease with a bunch of things. The Death of Aria Moon will obviously not quite be what you're expecting it to be. 12 Hours is an especially fun episode to write. Reasonable Accommodations is a lot of me venting. It is very much me venting about a lot of the difficulties I deal with as a disabled person. And again, Collision Point is just it's just kind of a nightmare of a sequence of events. And Once More with Feeling continues a tradition from the first season, which is fun. That is all
right. All right.
That is what I have planned going forward for Aria Moon. I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to it. I am definitely trying to take my time a lot more with the things that I work on. Productions.
Don't worry, guys. I'll keep them in mind.
Yeah, it's just now I remember something that I usually always do when I'm in a stream with Jam, and
oh man.
Have you fixed the episode yet?
I haven't. I'm never gonna get around to it.
Oh fuck, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh god, I still haven't done it.
Well, now if he fixes it, it wouldn't be funny, so he can't fix it.
I still. Chris has been asking me for a full year and a half at this point to add separate song title names into the Fidget singing bonus episode.
Just like what language they are in, because
yep. Oh, that was always what language they're in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I still haven't got to it. I am particularly excited for. I'm very, very excited for the stuff that we're going to be doing with Fidget this season.
So good,
it was
guys.
Like,
am I gonna get a hairball?
Are you gonna build a snowman?
Yes.
Fidget came in as, I leaned a lot more into her being a comic relief character, into her being the cute factor. We got to play a little bit more with like hinting at some feelings and hinting at some anxieties that she has about how people feel about her, about the fact that there are some people who don't trust her. Because that's like a core part of Cyberpunk is about sort of examining our relationship to technology, and Fidget is a fantastic opportunity to play with that idea and kind of like it's harder to examine your relationship with technology when that technology is all connected to a personality that you really like. Who is just so charming and endearing and likable, and you love Fidget. She's so cute, but it means that like every time you're like, should I be using this? This may be bad, or this may have XYZ ramifications, and then you've got Fidget being like, oh, you don't like me?
And then you feel sad.
It's like if Fidget is the YouTube
Because you
algorithm
make
personified.
Chris sad.
Exactly. Fidget is the YouTube algorithm personified. And the
Hi,
But
I'm
she-
Fidget. I'm sorry. Am I not doing my job well enough? That's why you.
No, you're doing great. Keep going.
but
I think Fidget is one of the few people I can actually improvise with. It is kind of funny. I'm sorry.
but I think the season 2 Fidget gets to do a lot more narrative stuff.
Like violence.
Like
Oh, he does.
violence. Fidget gets an AK-47 and
hell
a dinosaur.
yeah.
Wait! You have the back of a pancake.
Wait, we're not giving her a Gundam?
No. We 3D printed Fidget
No.
into a cat with a gun. We gave her a Gundam dinosaur.
I get a
that she
dinosaur gun. Okay.
Yeah, and she just
Your
goes
Fidgets,
around
go
and
do a
she,
crime.
and she goes and does crimes.
I can't
every
do crimes.
time
They're
she pulls
illegal.
the trigger,
But I can stop crimes by doing
every
crimes.
time she pulls the trigger, she kills someone, and then
Oh, no.
Fidget's like, "Oh no, that was a mistake." So Fidget naturally says, "Ofta."
I sound
And then goes
Then it turns out that instead of an actual gun, we just gave her a squirt gun filled with ketchup.
Your blood indicates that you need more iron. Are you okay?
But
You need
the
mustard.
Quillfeather says, kicking a puppy, hurting Fidget's feelings is like kicking a puppy, but you've got to remember, I am Vermont. Terminal Secrets
boy.
episode 6, the midpoint of Terminal Secrets episode 6 was a child being murdered.
Midpoint? That was the start.
Okay. I gotta clarify something. So you are okay with killing characters that are grown up, teenagers, kids, animals, and then you have the okay about killing Fidget or making Fidget bad. But you can kill everyone else, but then you can make Fidget do something bad. Like, is that the scale we're going with?
When we get to the second season of Aria Moon, no one is safe.
Ooh.
Not even Fidget.
No
Everyone
one
is
safe.
going to have a hard time.
No
That's
one
actually.
is safe.
I'm naturally trying to do this. I'm trying not to do spoilers, but I am still trying to build up hype. It's a difficult tightrope to walk.
It is.
One of the reasons that this and another project, which I've been calling Project Jewel, name for a while now, that Cinder is very familiar with because she's also been producing that.
Is this not the project?
This is not the Pod project. This is that other one, that collab one.
Oh yeah.
On that other existing.
Right.
But both of these things have been like, if there were any other themes, I would have finished them by now. But that bow, chicka bow wow. These projects have taken a lot longer to write because I've got to take a lot more breaks in between them, because I'm not just being dark anymore. It's not like this is gonna sound very, very weird to say. Writing, like, killing a child is easy. Someone's gonna clip that out of context. I can just feel it.
Hey, just pull a trigger.
Writing child murder.
Has a gun.
Writing child murder is actually pretty. It's pretty simple. It's not like on you mentally and emotionally writing the text. Like, all right, cool. They pull out the gun, they shoot this person, and this person dies. That's relatively easy, and you're just, as a writer, you're just trying to figure out the mechanics of how to make sure that the audience buys it. Writing about themes that are personal to you,
that hits a lot of other triggers.
That hits a lot of other triggers, so it's very possible that you end up emotionally triggering yourself while you're writing it. But you'll hit these points where it's not just, all right, cool, I'm I've got to figure out how to make the audience buy it, I'm thinking to myself, all right, cool, am I representing my own emotions, my own feelings about this thing well enough? And it's why, sort of as my work becomes a little bit more socially conscious, as Aria Moon very heavily, the further and further it goes, starts to look at capitalism and starts to look at social and economic systems. And the more and more I write it, it's not just that I've also got to make sure that I sit down and I do my research, because I can't sit down and put a plot point or have a main character talk about something that is political and have the story frame it that I think this character is right, if I have not sat down and done my research, so that if someone asks me, yo, what the fuck did you do here? I need to be able to be like, okay, cool. Here's my reasoning for X, Y, and Z. Here's my research. Here's my this, that. I can't just drop in and say it.
Along with that,
So the stories just now take a little bit longer to write, and they take a lot more out of me. Again, child murder is simple.
Child murder is a statistic.
I mean, along with that,
you all guys need therapy.
We do.
Fidget puts you all guys on psychic hold. Go to therapist now. I'm withholding your alcohol buying.
along with what Vermont's saying, when I wrote the speech for the Connors in season 1 of Who Needs Heroes, Aria Moon, that suddenly got a whole lot more real in the last year or so. When we all started Aria Moon, the environment was a lot different. It has gotten a lot more relevant since we started it.
Oh man, that has been genuinely funny. Every now and then I'd write something really silly and ridiculous and be like, here's a really silly, over-the-top exaggeration of how corporations act. And a couple of months later, I'd see a piece in the news where almost the exact thing I wrote happened.
Or I lean over and go, Vermont, that happens a lot.
I thought that was...
You gotta turn the knob up a little further if you want to go full evil.
The one of the simple silly ones was the Silverstone network. I wrote in this little gag that that to get this world's equivalent of the internet, you've got to pay a subscription fee to get so that Fidget will connect you. But then you can pay an extra subscription fee to get the premium version. If you pay for the premium version, you get access to the Silverstone network, which is its own thing. If you pay for the Silverstone network, you get a discount on certain services, or you get the right to pay for certain things that are exclusive to the Silverstone network services. And I thought to myself, I have made this so silly and so complex because no subscription service would ever actually make you subscribe and then ask you to pay for additional parts of that subscription. And then Disney Plus made you subscribe and then also rent Mulan. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit! You fucking did it!
Jam Jam has got the psychic powers.
And then having to pay $30 for that Mulan remake, it's like, oh, jeez.
That's a crime in itself. There are other jokes that I unfortunately cannot. Sunset Charlie had like 2 or 3 that I wrote that I thought were like stupid ridiculous, that people were going to come back after I released the episodes and they were going to be like, I get what you're going for, but this is stupid and over the top. And goddamn, if I did not see it in real life a couple of months ago. So I'm curious to see. I'm very curious to see when the pilot episode airs, if anyone catches the over the top thing that's in there that isn't a joke. I just Simpsonsed it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Sometimes being a writer is very fun.
I'm curious. I have a theory of what you're talking about, but I don't want to spoil it if it's right.
Fair enough.
I'm so looking forward to Sunset Charlie.
Oh, it's gonna be great, but I am actually gonna tap out now because we're heading to about 10 o'clock, and I've been up since 3:30 a.m.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it is all Cinder's fault too.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to jump in to do another podcast at some point so that we can gush about Dune.
We do, yeah. At the very least, we'll have another holiday podcast, and hopefully something before that. Hopefully.
Exactly. We promised that we will not have just one Breakroom podcast in the year of 2021.
Are you sure about that? We're pretty close to December already.
I mean, we still need to do the obligatory one talking about the movie.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've seen that movie 28 times now.
Damn.
Even more than I've seen it. I have gone through bits of it frame by frame just because the animation's so good.
Right? It's so pretty. Basically, one of the reasons also is because I had a whole week where I was in and out of hospitals because my belly was doing weird stuff. So, you need something to watch while you're laying there and waiting for pains to go over or for updates from the doctor.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Kind of imagining that meme that Skybolt has of Cruz with a gun, except she's pointing it at her own stomach. Being like,
Hey, fix yourself. I'm supposed to be at PonyCon Holland this weekend. Get your stuffies together. I don't have time for this.
Oh my god! I just realized we have to do a cut where we find like clips of Cruz cute not swearing and just clip them into existing Carmina dialogue.
Oh, that is cute. I like that.
I'm gonna
Carmina? Oh yeah, Carmina. Yeah.
Carmina.
I've gotten so used to
I
got so used to Red Reaper.
The next time I have copious spare time, I'm going to make the Cruz cut of Carmina.
That'd be great. I would love to hear that.
That would be awesome.
Wasteland Pony, episode 7. Carmina is cute now. I mean, episode 8.
Yeah, she got a baby and now she's cute because mother hormones.
Yeah, she's all like motherly. Yeah.
Although, I mean, to be honest, Carmina is still already really cute, but like, she's also murderous and
No. I have the perfect way to describe her. She is cute but will fight you energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn, that is really good Carmina art you've got up there.
But thank you. It's made by Baja Griffin.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
Baja made that.
That is fantastic.
Oh jeez.
I am vanishing now though, so goodbye to everyone.
If you guys take a look at my channel, I did try to sing in Carmina's voice, and that's where this photo is from.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
I don't feel like that, but thank you. It's like way too dark, and the song was not in my range, so Carmina's not technically supposed to be able to sing, so it's okay. I hope.
Riz, no one likes their own singing. No one.
Yeah, no one. Trust me.
Yes, looks at your channel. How many songs and covers do you have now, Skybolt?
All terrible. Don't listen to them.
Oh, so that's why they're.
I mean, I'm completely outmatched. On the one hand, we have frickin' Skybolt, and on the other, we have an angel. I mean, come on.
Oh, you're talking about yourself? Right. That's nice.
No.
But yeah,
I've heard you sing.
Yeah. So, are there any other personal projects you ladies would like to promote for us here? Since it's just us now.
Let me check.
Well, I'm conquering the EAST Corp.
I know. I don't have a Sunset
Yeah.
Charlie still. If you want to send me like a cover art or something, I've
I
limited
have.
visual assets.
We don't really have any. We don't really have one of those yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, sorry.
I did take the things Tavi says from Shotgun Angel when I left that studio. So I'm gonna be starting that back up in the next few months.
Nice.
I just need to secure funding for it. Which is proving difficult. But I actually do have a small handful of projects that I want to do, but I insist on paying my VAs, and that significantly limits what I can do.
Yeah, that gets expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Not as bad as you'd think, but especially for something short like the things Tavi says. Okay, so full disclosure. With maybe 4 more VAs, and most of those are I just need main 6 voices. I could have edited and released the first like 12 episodes of the things Tavi says. Because so much of it is just Vinyl and Octavia. And I have a really good Vinyl scratch.
Uh-huh.
You might have heard of her.
Uh-huh.
You know, once or twice.
Uh-huh.
You might have heard of her. Let's see. Was it Kayla that was doing? No, it wasn't Kayla. It was
Kayla's probably your Octavia, I'm guessing.
She was for a little while.
No, it's me.
Oh yes, that's even funnier.
Nope.
Kayla was actually going to be Octavia for a while, but she had to bow out of the project. She was just too busy.
Yeah.
But I actually do have a very good Octavia that I kind of stumbled upon thanks to Prince Dazzle.
Oh, yes,
Dazzle.
Yes.
Dazzle pointed me towards a very lovely VA who's doing our Octavia. You know what? It's going to be easier to just search it through YouTube. Yeah, so our vinyl is actually Maddie.
Maddie like Mad Munchkin or someone else?
Maddie like Madeline.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
My
my
bad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's our vinyl scratch. Our Octavia
really? I don't think
was
I've heard her do a scratch voice. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Here, I'll actually throw you a direct link to the episode.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but our original Octavia was actually Webcake. But that didn't work out. She kind of ghosted me really hard.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up recasting her. We ended up recasting Octavia.
I'm somehow not surprised. I've also had crossings with her in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up recasting her at Octavia with Shelly Kitten, who does amazing work. Quite honestly, She could do Octavia and the entire main 6 if we really needed.
Not to mention local.
Is there a time code I should jump to for Vinyl Scratch?
First 10 seconds.
Oh, okay then. Let's go to that.
She's the narrator.
Vinyl, have you seen Scribbler?
Rich bands of shimmering violet flicker across the room. And that's how I
But
know
we've
that
also got
Octavia's-
Baha doing the
I
art
paused the beat
as
on my-
well.
Ooh.
Which is something that I do still want to continue once I pick the project back up and secure funding, because Baha does amazing work.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I love that Carmina art. So
Yes. But Maddie does a fantastic vinyl for the kind of project that it is.
that's great.
But yeah, I noted there was a question about this earlier, in the chat of what went down with Shotgun Angel. That's a very long story. I'm gonna limit it to creative differences
Okay.
and difficulties in production. And then just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, whatever you want to say.
That's
Not, yeah.
yeah. That's about all I can. That's about all I can say. I do much prefer to keep some professionalism.
Yeah.
So that's all I can really say is creative differences. Also, Scroll, the stream has been going on for forever since we began, since time itself.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
It's been about 2 hours.
Almost 3, actually. I thought we could wrap it up at 3,
Oh, no.
unless you had a lot more you were thinking of saying. I honestly, I've covered all my topics, so I'm not sure what else to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I
mean,
have a small
Go ahead.
thing. If when you're done.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a small project that I'm currently working with, and I can't say anything else, but that includes stubbing shades, or stealing shades, as it's called. Agatha music and lightning bliss.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. So,
Oh right,
very.
I actually convinced Lightning Bliss to do voice acting. That was fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was
Just
so
dropped a bunch
happy.
of art.
Yeah. So that's a casting thing that I'm actually going to try and preserve. Is we got for the things Tavi says. I managed to convince Lightning Bliss to voice Lyra
Oh, fun!
Yee.
Yeah.
because her normal voice and gremlin
Wigginess?
demeanor. Her normal voice and gremlin demeanor are perfect for Lyra.
All right. Nice.
Geez, I have so much I need to do picking that up, but with leaving the studio and all of the chaos, that's put a pretty big damper on pretty much all of my work.
It's understandable.
Yeah. Anyway, I could talk for hours if you wanted me to, but you probably
Yeah,
won't.
also, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. But one thing I'm actually also curious about, like, I was at the first con in 2 years or 2.5 years at a Holland PonyCon in the Netherlands, and like I was running around like a 10-year-old child high on sugar. Like, I think I spent like maximum, if I didn't have the panel with Ellie, I spent like maximum 10 minutes within the same room.
Aww.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. How is Ellie doing? That reminds me, I need to reach out to her.
Yeah, she is currently now shooting a movie, mostly at nighttime for her. So, you know, she tries her best to get sleep and take care of herself. And I'm like telling her, like, sweetie, just take it slowly. We want you alive. But you know her, she is a real life Pinkie Pie, so she goes bouncing around everywhere. And like when we were doing the panel, she had like maybe 3.5 hours sleep, and I was just like, "Are you okay? Are you sure you can do this?" But the con itself was so many lovely people, and got to see like the mascot and like plushies. I got to eat the Imalu, the one working on G5. She is such a sweetheart. She actually reminds me. Yeah, she actually reminds me a little bit about Yusinder, like just fun going and adorbs.
Aww.
He also got to meet the Assassin Monkey, and he's a pretty relaxed dude. I'm really happy I got to talk to him.
Yeah, he's actually pretty cool. I've met him a few times.
Ah, nice.
I've always wanted to work with him, but I've never gotten a chance.
Yeah, you can see that. Of course, I had to sneak in some Norwegian chocolate to some people.
All right.
Of course.
Skybot knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. It melted to perfection.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Sorry I couldn't make it myself. The chaos kind of prevented me from it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's understandable. But we will see when we can figure out something else, because I am gonna meet you and I am gonna hug you. You cannot hide.
I can't run. I can't hide. There's no escape from Cruz.
It's no escape from the flitter hugs. Beware. You know, all that shenanigans.
Coming. Tactical hugs detected.
Yeah, about that. Apparently I almost knocked people over. I need to be more careful. So yeah, of course I know with you I can't actually glump you, so I'm gonna be more careful.
Yeah, that comes with my bones being made of Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah,
they go snap, crackle, and pop.
Yeah, but as far as I know, Skybolt, you have no issues.
No, I'm an immovable.
So yeah, are you challenging me?
Yes.
Yes, because one of the people I glumped apparently had 2 people as bodyguards at the current time, and they didn't even notice me, so I just So yeah, sure.
The hug ninja has struck.
And I was yelling, like, hug! Apparently that didn't help. So, you know, you have yourself a deal, buddy, but yeah, keep your feet spread and steady. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh boy, yeah, I'm gonna do the same to Jam. No, Jam has a walking, talkie,
yeah, you're gonna break his legs too, Mr. and Mrs. Glass. But no,
why do I? No. Sorry, it's just now I'm seeing their OCs married and like an old, adorable couple, and I'm just like, oh, they will have so adorable kids. Oh,
one last topic I was going to talk about originally, and I just googled. I guess Jonathan Nolan from Westworld is involved with the new Fallout TV series. That's kind of cool. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten much news out of that.
No, it's been over a year now, and that's why I was looking up. I'm like, is there any news? I feel like this would be a good time to talk about it if there were, but nothing. It's just those 2 things.
Yeah, with the Rona, I guess that has honestly, that's put the damper on a lot of stuff.
I know. I want it to be good though, because honestly, Bethesda, their live-action Fallout trailers and stuff have always been pretty decent. Like going back to the original Fallout 3, what was the campaign called? Oh, the black and white Prepare for the Future campaign. That was so good.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they could have really benefited if they basically just went to Wayside Digital and said, hey, you're making Fallout stuff. Here, take a bunch of money and make it big.
Especially with props and stuff, they did an incredible job. And was it the Red Star short that they had the Securitron? Damn, that thing looks like
that was Red Star.
Like a real robot.
Yeah, like their stuff is always surprisingly high quality. Like you can tell that it was still a prop. A lot of it you can tell, like the Ranger's armor. If you know how it should look, you can tell that that's made of very well painted and sculpted foam. But like they do such good work.
Yeah, I gotta go back through their back catalog again.
Yeah, they do such good work. I've legit just been hoping that someone throws them a bunch of money and goes, here, like Bethesda just threw them a bunch of money and go, here, get whatever you need, go, you got this.
And I am excited. Mainly the main story I'm hoping for, what I'm guessing, if I were the writer, and I guess with the Westworld pedigree, maybe Jonathan Nolan will do this, of doing like cutting back and forth between after the bombs drop and beforehand, and maybe having like one character show like what they were so many years ago, and then they turn out to be an old character in the skip forward or something like that, because even the regular like games don't really cover like the actual events leading up to the war, the last war. So that'd be
I really think they could do. I think especially with a series format rather than a movie format, I think they could basically do the Ditzy Do story.
Oh yeah,
the Derpy story of here's this person who was there during the war. They're a ghoul now. We're going to follow them from like before the war started all the way to way in the future when they meet like the Vault Dweller or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think they could really do something amazing with that. And it's a story that a lot of people have been wanting to see, because I would let them flesh out all of the crazy stuff that happened in the like 200 years of empty space we've got.
Yeah, they could be like because it's a somewhat recent movie, the Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby movie. And I guess the original novel, too, where you have the Tobey Maguire character as just narrating the story of Jay Gatsby from his perspective. And you could have that, but the ghoul character is doing it for the whole war. And so it's their introspection on things. And
I'm just, if it's okay, I ask. Like, I remember because of the Fallout Equestria now is protected under the court case thingy. I know that covers at least fan fiction and stuff, but does that cover like if somebody made a video game or movie? It's just not just audiobooks and stories?
So
if you know.
So it set a precedent in state level law in the United States that fan works, specifically fan fiction, but fan works, because this is how precedence works in the United States, are protected under parody law, which means that that it needs to be. It needs to meet a couple criteria, but the precedent is there. And the precedent is also there for someone to take it to court again and expand the precedent. Honestly, this is probably the single biggest contribution Fiora has ever made to any fandom, is going through with that court case out of sheer stubbornness.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, copyright law is so screwy in the US, like, anything that can dismantle it and then, improve that worldwide as well is a good thing.
So a lot of projects wouldn't be willing to shell out for a lawyer to look over the project and determine if it's viable as parody.
Mhm.
However, projects like Fighting is Magic or Janimations would have the revenue to do that. And I think those kind of projects would be able to expand it because that precedence exists. The important facet is that when Bethesda and Hasbro were presented with the opportunity to contest it in court, they didn't, which is the precedence that was set. So if they want to sue someone and someone someone uses precedence for that, they can argue you didn't contest this work, which is also parody. Why didn't you? If this was a infringement, it was your responsibility to contest that. Therefore, this is also not infringement, and you should not contest this. Because that's one of the differences with copyright and trademark. This is also why the only main 6 character that really has much of a appearance in the Dead Tree book is Pinkie Pie, and why she's always called Pink instead. This is one of the reasons.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. So copyright, it's also fun because we've got like 2 years left on one of the old time bombs about to go off, which is that Mickey Mouse's copyright is about to expire. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if the House of Mouse can pull off another Hail Mary in Congress and get copyright laws fucked with again. Otherwise, Mickey Mouse entering public domain would be a lot of fun for critics of Disney Corporation.
Yeah, they're
a lot of chaos.
Needless to say, they've been working on getting that through Congress for a while.
Yeah.
They're one of the main factors behind copyright law being completely screwy.
Yeah, it really is bad. Like, if you look back, I mean, everything's basically like after the 20s, it just gets haywire for many reasons, and since like I think the 60s, basically since Walt died, it's been that way with Disney especially, and it's really bad in so many ways. It's like it's so anti-creative, and you see all these projects that are like more true to the original spirit of a property get like mothballed because some corporation that don't give a damn about it at all are just trying to, farm it for money. And it's like, come on, man. Like, there should be a hard cutoff. Like, I would say 25 years, like, no matter what. Like, that's a whole career. Like, you write some song or something, 25 years, you've got to make the most of it. And then people can do their own remixes or anything without fear of repercussions.
I will actually point at video games here. It took 17 years for Nintendo to make a new Metroid game. In that time, they used the blunt stick of copyright law to destroy a lot of Metroid fan projects that were really good.
Yeah.
Aww, sadness.
The Metroid 2 remake that I still have because it was released on the internet.
Mhm.
All they did was ruin the life of one person who put a lot of time and work into a project. That's all they succeeded at doing, is ruining his life and financially trying to destroy him. That is better than the one they ended up releasing. That's better than the remake they ended up releasing a while later. Which, honestly, that re-release does feel a lot like it was made specifically because people were angry that fan project was destroyed.
Yeah, which is like, or it's like the tragedy that is the Fantastic Four property, where it's like there have been four movies made, and literally every single time was simply so a studio could retain the copyright to the property that they never actually did anything good with. Which is sad, because I like the 2005 and 7 films, but they are, in the grand scheme of things, not that good. And then you go back and there's like the 90s one with Roger Corman, and then everyone knows the Fant 4 stick debacle. And it's just really sad, because that was like, they were one of the first families of the Marvel Universe, and in this golden age of Marvel properties, they've just been sort of like the black like they're trapped outside and they can't get back inside. Sons, daughters.
It's a mess, and I'm just gonna say it this way: it'd be really nice if someone else could pick up properties that have been horribly mishandled, like Ruby, for instance. Gonna upset some
that's
people with
something
that.
else. Yeah,
I'd like to see it, because if you keep an eye on animation, there's some groups that are making some really good stuff in the style of Monty.
Yeah.
That they get basically killed immediately. Like, the voice acting and writing for the Silver series that the Mark team made is a mess, but the animation is surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so much of these things that I legitimately think they could handle it way better than Rooster Teeth does at this point.
Yeah, you mean Warner Media presents Rooster Teeth?
Yeah, basically.
Also, I like how not only did Bernie flee the country, but he also didn't say where he was going. It's like he just wanted to completely abandon ship.
Yep.
That's just like, it just sucks, because like, you look at, especially I go back to the old seasons still, 1 through 3, I know, it's like the Gen 1 or whatever, but it's like, it feels genuine because it's still him, taking a leading creative role, and just having a freak, early death like that right as it was really taking off. It's just, it's sad, because I'm sure they did their best to try to hold to his vision, but just over time, it's going to spin off into their own version of it no matter what. Just like what happened with Game of Thrones.
So, with Ruby, losing Monty was the gut shot.
Yeah.
Mismanagement was the wound going septic, and that's how we get to where we are today.
Yeah.
there's a lot that can be said, and having been a director and a producer, and looking at how the Ruby production team is structured and run, it is nightmarish.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, we do a better job. We at least have an idea of where we're taking stuff. And we actually have actual writers in charge of the writing.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like with the recent sequel trilogy of Star Wars, where you're like, you really didn't plan out a trilogy ahead of time? One of the most valuable properties in the world, and you didn't just write out, this is what movie 1 is, this is what movie 2 is. Like, what the fuck? You think in 2012 they would have sat, when he was still in the project, Colin Trevorrow and Johnson and J.J. Abrams down in a room in like fucking Miami for 3 weeks and be like, okay, let's lay out, this is the story, this is the sequel trilogy. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then bring in Timothy
this has-
Zahn, who actually knows what he's fucking doing.
This has been super fun, but this flitter needs to hit the litter.
That's right.
So I'm gonna skedaddle. This was super much fun, and hugs to you both.
Nighty night, Chris.
Night night. Bye.
So yeah, it's really sad. And
Yeah, it's it is mismanagement and cash grabs. And that's going to get me on a very Connor and Connor-esque tangent.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop that train of thought there with blame capitalism.
Yeah, it's really like, and it's always been like a tool of censorship too, this kind of stuff. Like from the very invention of the printing press, we had these issues of people like just wanting to control the flow of creativity and information, and it's always been evil. Back to the Statute of Anne in like the fucking 17th century, and
Oh, it goes back even further.
it should be.
It was just a lot harder before the printing press to actually spread that information because it was a lot harder to mass produce it.
Yeah, so
Before you could just you could just stab the scribe.
yeah,
But now, once it's on the internet, it's out there forever.
it's viral.
It's why, like that Metroid remake, yet another Metroid 2 remake. Go ahead and look that up. It's actually worth a play.
See, I'm so far outside of the Nintendo sphere these days. Like, why they seem to be very uniquely like and like vicious with their protection, and that's always kind of caught me off guard.
So, it is a side effect of the Japanese legal system.
Oh, interesting.
And the legal system that America established in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Along with a bit of a cultural thing. You see a couple of other Japanese companies doing similar things, like Square Enix.
Oh, yeah.
You see a lot of Japanese companies being a heck of a lot more vicious regarding copyright. That's a lot of it. When America essentially set up shop in Japan following World War II,
yeah,
and we shoved them into the deep end of capitalism and a legal system supporting it, and that's had some consequences. That's had a lot of consequences. It is similar to a lot of stories that you do hear, and even more that you don't, regarding how Japanese culture tends to run, especially corporate culture. If you think it like it is So I'm very familiar with the video game industry.
Yeah.
So I'm about to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
The crunch culture that you see in the video game industry started in a couple of Japanese companies and then spread from there
Oh gosh.
because other countries saw a cultural abuse of workers
Yeah.
and saw that it was that they could make more profit off of it
Yeah.
and then spread it. Because that's what it is in the end.
Yeah.
It's all about squeezing as much value out of each individual employee as possible. You see a lot of people recently actually becoming aware of it, but for the longest time, the United States has kind of been a bastion and a pressure cooker for that kind of thing, and has spread it. I'm trying not to go on a Connor rant here.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's very awful of just a lot of factors of yeah, that there aren't better protections, like yeah, it sucks because it's all like all of that like feeds away for the business ultimately, like, and it ends up being just like a puppet thing, like, you know, wearing some badge or whatever, you know, for some month, and then just doing the same shit over and over again.
When your economic system is built upon the foundational assumption of greed, that every decision someone makes will be made out of a foundation of greed, and then that economic system becomes part and parcel with the governmental system and is forced into the culture at gunpoint, a la the Red Scare, this is where you end up. Scrollkeeper says that at this point we might as well just say that cyberpunk has become reality. The problem is that it hasn't. We're worse.
Yeah, because cyberpunk's at least cool and has better aesthetics. A lot of this is like boring shit.
We are. Congratulations. It's taken a while, but the world has started waking up to the fact that we live in a capitalist dystopia. And we have been for a long time. And yeah, it's not cyberpunk. If it was cyberpunk, I could get my spine fixed.
Yeah, that too.
But it's just... You can take Connor's speech from Who Needs Heroes, Aria Moon. You could take the Connor's speech from that, change a small handful of words, and apply it to the modern world, and there'd be I guarantee you there'd be a lot of shouts of agreement and also a few assassination attempts. It's kind of the world we live in. And, well, art is the front of change, so it's one of the reasons why we do things, is to try and make a better world.
Yeah.
Also because it's fun.
Yeah, the escapism is definitely fun for me.
Mm-hmm. And now that I've made this conversation incredibly heavy...
Yeah, no, I pretty much have to go soon anyway, so last 7 minutes, 6 minutes.
Yeah. I think this might be a good place to end it off. I have the intense urge to meme, but I'm not going to because it would be in bad taste.
Oh.
Yeah, go watch the Ruby Red cinematic, everyone. Go remember Monty. Go remember what he
The
stood
Red
for.
cinematic. Oh, that does take me back. Yeah, because that's how I discovered it. After season 9 or whatever, the last one he directly worked on, 10. Oh, I just moved to Virginia, and I was like, "What the heck is this new show?" And the music is what got me. Look, those first 4 trailers, the music and each of their setups were so good and interesting. Like that hooked me, and yeah, and then comparing it to it seems. I remember I felt it immediately in season 4. I'm like, season 4 literally feels like them searching for the plot after Monty died, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of gross. Like. In a weird meta way, I'm like, do you guys know what you're doing? Like, I thought this was all planned out, like 12 seasons or something.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing, because and they've admitted this, a lot of the scripting was, they kind of had a vague idea what they were going to do for each season, and then Monty would go off and do the fight scenes, and the other two would sit down and try and write something, and figure out where to put the Monty fights in.
Oh, that's funny.
And you'll notice a lot of the best storytelling and dialogue is in the fight scenes because Monty was a better writer.
Yeah.
Because, well, the main writers for, Miles Luna and Carrie Shawcross, were, they never actually had written anything, original on their own before then. The only thing they had worked on before that was Red vs. Blue, and they had other writers with Red vs. Blue.
Yeah.
It was just them, which is why if you go back and rewatch seasons 1, 2, and 3, a lot of the episodes that don't involve a fight, you can kind of just ignore.
Yeah, they're inconsequential almost, or maybe we'll do something with this someday.
Yeah, or they're, hey, I know it's called Ruby, but have you heard about this guy called John, who just so happens to be voiced by Miles?
Yeah. It's if he had a better payoff in the long term, that would have been nice, but it's they kind of build him up, and then they kill the first girl who had a crush on him, and then he kind of nerfs his crush on Weiss after poor Pyrrha dies for the sake of the series. And it's okay, he's just kind of hanging out now. He's kind of Ruby's moral support when she's not being a main character, and that's about it.
The problem is at this point, John is more the main character than Ruby.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, you're right.
And John has been more the main character than Ruby since, season 2.
Yeah. The whole season 3 plot is him and Pyrrha, really.
Yep.
Oh,
and
fuck.
Yeah, I have a lot of criticisms of Miles Luna. A lot of criticisms.
Go off.
Not least of which is that he basically took this show and made it made it based around his self-insert character. And it's
what is this, the Powerpuff Girls reboot?
Yeah, it's I have a lot of criticisms for the way Miles and Carrie handled things and handled things. But if I start talking about Ruby and the let me put it this way, Vermont and I have a whole stream prepared for complaining about Ruby.
Hell yeah.
Uh, yeah, go watch the Red trailer. It's one of the best things related to Ruby, and really is one of Monty's best works. It's fantastic. Go watch it. It's worth it.
Yeah, and it's also, even for the music, which got me hooked originally, like, you know, after 8 seasons, you can only come up with so many new ideas, so it's like, we talked about this years ago, actually, where it's like, every new season has, like, a fewer amount of songs that are actually of real, like, interesting value, and, you know, by this point, season 8, I'm like, I can't even hum a tune of, like, any of those that I could even remember.
Jeff Williams is an amazing composer. Like, he does great work, and I'm still shocked by how good Casey Lee Williams is.
Yeah. She's like, what, 22 now? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Also, one of the best memes that's ever come out of the Ruby fandom is that Casey is Neapolitan's voice actress.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is apparently canon, even though the point is Neo never talks because she's mute.
Yeah.
Which is endlessly amusing. All the music's just her. Because Neo's the best character because she doesn't talk, so the writing crew can't ruin her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's just like, I wish like they held a better, like, literally almost every season now feels like it's trying to find its own plot line. It's, even though it's supposed to be like one big journey, like you get the idea that they're trying to write like an original Avatar series, like, you know, epic journey, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, Avatar is admitted to have been a major influence, and they've kind of, if you look at the pieces, you can kind of tell, yeah, this is following the same beats as Avatar, but not nearly as well.
No, it's like every episode is the two opposing clans of Ba Sing Se episode. The one that everyone hates.
Yeah, and it's I would honestly suggest, I can legitimately suggest the books, because the books are written by actual writers.
The like prose, or is it the manga?
The prose.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was prose.
Yeah. The prose books are pretty good from what I've heard and read, and actually do things like, hey, you remember Team Coffee? The freaking awesome team with Coco?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's them actually doing things. Or, hey, you remember Team Sun with Mr. Shotgun Nunchucks?
Man.
Yeah, here's them doing stuff written by a competent writer.
That's like a weirdly meta thing, like all the tragedy that happens in season 3. It's like, oh, look at all these great characters that we don't have anymore for various reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I miss Glinda and Oobleck too, but you know, just everything.
I will admit, Ruby was best when the villain was Torchwick.
Yes.
But apparently, I haven't read it yet, but Vermont has. I haven't read it yet, but Vermont's apparently gotten a hold of it on audiobook. Roman Holiday is supposedly really good. Surprisingly, because it ends up focusing on Roman Torchwick and Neapolitan.
Oh.
You know, the backstory, because they killed Roman Torchwick with a gag.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That would be fun to see. Because now that's her motivation. Obviously, is just getting revenge for him getting killed. But it's like, what? Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
look, I've just been waiting for Neo to stab Salem and them in the back since she joined, because one, there's no, it was actually Cinder Fall, and I could rant about a good chunk of that stream I was talking about that we have planned is just ranting about Cinder Fall.
Awesome.
But she's the one actually behind Roman's death, and Neo's kind of found herself in a cult.
Yeah.
And for a moment it looked like they were gonna do that, because the animators added in her having that moment of, oh crap, I'm in a doom cult. Uh-oh. I am in over my head.
Oh.
But they when you give this setting to actual writers, they can do a lot with it, because as the fan fiction will show you, there is a lot of room to world build and tell stories in this setting. And Rooster Teeth is not handling it well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
when
very
you give to anyone
interesting
but
world
Rooster
setup.
Teeth, they do good with it.
Yeah, I gotta say too, even if it's I don't know how much Monty contributed to it, but then when they finally gave some backstory payoff for like, okay, this is why our planet's called Remnant and all this stuff and the moon, and it's like, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that was mostly
more,
Monty.
but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, that was mostly Monty.
However, they still need to cover at some point, like, she murdered, like, their four daughters. Like, he should be, like, frothing with rage at her. Like, I feel like, I don't know, there should be more of that energy. I would be. Fuck. All four of my sweet baby girls, you murdered them, you psychopath.
Yeah, like, I would prefer that over having Team Ruby sitting there drinking tea while the apocalypse is happening.
Yeah.
Kind
of has like fiddling with Rome Burns kind of vibes.
Yeah, if you want something good related to Ruby, go watch some of the fan animations or go read some fan fiction.
We're always about promoting good fan fiction like our own. So
yeah,
definitely
the
check
1/10 the 1/10 law is still entirely valid, but unfortunately the chunk of that's made by the official creators is junk.
Yeah. I wonder what, I don't think they have an ending plan. I think they're just going to keep spinning it until no one knows what to do with it anymore.
Probably.
Like, because it is profitable, obviously. That's why they're still, Warner Media Presents Rooster Teeth is still making it, so.
I mean, that's why they're still making Red vs. Blue.
Oh, that's painful too. Yeah, I mean, I gave Course Trilogy a chance, but no, I bought the 10-year box set. I'm like, this is Red vs. Blue. This is all I ever needed it to be.
Yeah,
even back in the day, because I'm an old man, I was like, the season 6 was like a big tone shift and departure. I'm like, no, Red vs. Blue is seasons 1 through 5 for a while. It took me a while to warm up to the other seasons.
Yeah, it did, and I'll be honest, I still have no idea what they were thinking with the Mercenaries spin-off seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
The fights were cool.
Yeah, the fights were great, definitely. And then what was it? 14 was like a hodgepodge like variety show season, right?
Oh gosh, they're on 14. Heck.
I think now they're on like 17.
Oh heck.
I know, it's
Yeah, and they
pain.
forgot
I've
how to
stopped paying
animate
attention.
again. Yeah, they forgot how to animate again.
It's like how Simpsons is a 90s show. Red vs. Blue was a 2000s show. Once 2010 happened, we don't need to talk about it anymore. It's done.
Yeah. It still saddens me that Rooster Teeth can't seem to keep a good animating team, good animation team.
Which
Like,
is
even beyond Monty, they seem to be picking back up with Red vs. Blue's fight animation again, and then they just dropped the ball again. It's like, did you execute the animators and hire monkeys?
It's like
I have never touched Blender, but I could probably do better than this. What the heck?
This is starting to look like Food Fight.
Yeah, like, and not Monty's food fight, because Monty's food fight was awesome.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that was a great scene. I mean, just Yang double fisting 2 turkeys and then punching people it's just pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it was. The sad thing is Monty was probably one of the best animators of the generation.
Yeah.
But the thing that made his work really shine wasn't some fantastic new technique he developed. It was mastery of the basics of animation.
Yeah.
And a willingness, especially for things like fight scenes, to actually consult with references for like, you remember, like, in Ruby's son's shotgun nunchuck scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Versus Torchwick. You
Yeah.
know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. He actually talked with a couple people and referenced a martial artist to do that. And it's that little bit of extra effort that really was a hallmark of Monty's.
Yeah, it's just everything is so
stuff
kinetic,
shine.
but it also like it works. Like it really feels real because like you can tell he's dancing around in his little, bunny suit and everything.
Yeah,
it has real
and-
people doing the motions, but like people who know what they're doing the motions.
Well, that's the thing, is he didn't use motion capture. He didn't need to. He all of that was straight up animation.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I had that backwards then.
Yeah, no, he talked with these people, got them to like record a video that he could use as reference for how someone would fight with these things. It's also how he defined Ruby's fighting style, which, again, back when Monty was running it, you could recognizably tell each character had a different style of fighting and movement
Yes.
in a fight. And it's just those little details, those little bits of thought that made that and his heavy focus on the basics of animation that made everything's just so good.
It really was.
But if you want to hear more about that, Vermont and I did a 3-hour stream going over the highway fight in Red vs. Blue.
Oh
Which,
yeah, the hallmark of season 9.
Yeah, if you'll note, that fight was a couple minutes. It took us 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know more, go watch the VOD.
Yeah, so I think that's a great That's a great place to wrap up on, I think. Definitely,
More EAST Corp stuff.
definitely, we'll talk more Ruby stuff down the road, and other writing and scripting, since you guys have Aria Moon and 2 and Sunset Charlie launching ever higher. And do we have a thing in the chat? Does Skybolt use a Blue Yeti? Yes. I definitely like. I don't know. I guess I'm used to them. I've been using Blue microphones since the beginning, and I've had this Yeti for 5 years now, so it's pretty good. I don't know. It's simple, plug and play.
Yeah, I use I use an Audio Technica AT2020, which is about the same price range as a entry-level Blue Yeti, but it's been what I've been using for 6 years now. And it gives me professional quality audio, so hey.
Exactly. Don't fix what ain't broke. Like, the only reason I even replaced my old Snowball was because the plugs broke. Like, all 4, whatever, of the USB 2 copper contacts broke off. I don't even know what happened. It's 'cause it was right after my move. I think I might have, like, bent them at some point when I was unplugging it, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's dead. It's dead. It's dead, Jim. So I had to rush off real quick and get this.
This is actually the third AT2020 I'm on. The first one died when the ceiling in my recording room caved in, which that was actually cause for a small delay with the mercenary.
I know. I remember that message from you. Oh my god.
I was just, hey, I got half of it, but then my ceiling caved in. I'm gonna need a little bit of time before I can record the rest of this.
But it worked. We got it out.
Yeah, and it was so good.
I felt so bad when I heard that.
That was actually the last thing that I recorded on that microphone, because yeah, the ceiling falling on it kind of killed that microphone dead.
Rest in peace.
And the second one I just wore out.
Oh fuck! I gotta go through all that again. Like I just said earlier, I gotta go through Terminal Secrets again. I haven't listened to Confessions start to finish in 2 years since I started scripting the finale, basically.
Yeah, I need to sit down and go through Confessions again. I need to sit down and go through the Wasteland Survival Guide again. But
yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, that is a fun one.
I love how in the Red Reaper, even though you don't actually have any voice lines, like your character comes up so many times just in the banter with Chris. It's so cute. Like, he clearly fucked the dragon. Now can we move on?
I so want us to one day do like an epilogue, or even better, like a cast commentary or something, just so we can have more banter between the various VAs.
That was the best part of the 5-year anniversary stream by far, and so that one will be something like that, or like fuck, that's why they come out of eggs. It's so sharp.
Yeah, like we really need to do that, because that'll be so much fun, and we'll finally get to have Carmina and Diamondback banter at each other.
I know. That would be
with Battered caught between them. Poor Battered.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's 18 months now since, or no, not that long, but since the finale. Gosh.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Poor Diamondback spends 6 months in hospice getting nursed back to health by Battered.
Yeah, I will say, after an entire episode of Diamondback basically being invulnerable, he just gets his shit rocked.
I know.
Through that whole finale.
I know.
Every scene he shows up in, he's just suffering.
He's too OP, so I'm like, okay, they would have to use him, throw him at everything they could, and he can't be too impervious.
Yeah, we just gotta, melt half of him. That'll do it. Okay, he's taken care of.
He's like a flying scab for the whole the whole episode. Ow, this really hurts. The wind flying over my bad wing.
We'll just shuffle him off. He's fine. He's gonna be a scab for the next 6 months.
Batter, can you get me more aloe vera?
Batter, you don't mind taking care of. Ah! Oh, okay, that's what pain feels like.
Hey, if you wanted a lady's touch, you would have dated someone else.
That's the pattern I love. Ow, 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 ow.
That would be it. She's as gentle as she can be, but this is coming from a mercenary since she was a child.
Yeah, this is coming from a battered.
Raider.
I do have to go.
Yeah, I should go too.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening, everyone, and have a lovely night.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us. 5 years of EAST Corp. We finished all of our series. Go check out. We have playlists put together for Confessions, Wasteland Pony, Terminal Secrets, Wasteland Survival Guide. Check out the the Great Experiment documentary to see where we all got our start at Goofy Stable Tech. Check out our upcoming series, Sunset Charlie, which is about naughty things. Check out season 2 of Aria Moon by going back through the first season again. And yeah, I'll keep dropping little updates about what I'm doing too, and my own little silly stories. So, thank you for joining us again. We hope to do more Breakroom podcasts here in the future at EAST Corp Productions.